Okay, welcome everybody to the Shank Club NFL live show. We've had a few technical problems. We normally go at 2:30, but 2:30 rolled around and my colleague Nick Cork has just disappeared off the face of the earth. I'm hoping he is well. I'm hoping there's nothing wrong with his family or his pets, because that's normally the only reason he would ever miss football and miss the Shank Club. So, Nick, if you're watching this, if you can hear me, I don't know if you have any issues, give me a call, mate, because we obviously want you on the show. But today is a very special show. I'm absolutely honoured and privileged to have Mr. Sam Highsmith with me, who is Alex Highsmith's father, who was drafted in the third round for the Pittsburgh Steelers this season. And I say very honoured to have him on. Thank you for your time, Sam. Happy Thanksgiving. How are you doing?
Oh, thank you for inviting me. This is great. We had a good Thanksgiving. We little change in plans. Thought we actually be at a game Thursday night, but everything worked out. He didn't have practice that day, so we all kind of just had family together. It's honestly the first time I've had my wife, my daughter, and my son all us at the same house. Generally, we split and go to the different in-law sides of the family, but no, we were all together, so that was cool.
That's excellent. We'll definitely come back in a moment there, Sam, but we'll just introduce the other guys that are joining us today. In the middle there, you'll see Simon, who is the lead guy on the UK Steelers podcast, something I listen to every week. They're great guys, the four of them, Simon, Dave, Rich and Gav. Always sort of a good listen if you're a big Steelers fan. Simon, how you doing?
Yeah, good. Don't let Gav hear you calling me the lead guy. He's not going to be happy.
Oh, is he going to start getting a bit of a sort of a superiority complex or something?
I wonder where his invite was, Pete.
And also alongside us, as ever, we've got Carl from 2 Feet in Bounds. Carl, thanks again for joining us, mate. You keeping well?
Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, not too bad, thank you. It was actually wonderful on Thursday evening to watch a game of football at an appropriate time this time round.
Absolutely. And Scott joining us from Kansas. Scott, how you doing, mate?
Doing good. How are y'all doing?
We're doing very good. I'm just also going to bring in John, who is a fan of the show. He's been joining us the last few weeks and making comments onto the show. I'm going to assume by the jumper that he's wearing, he's a San Francisco 49ers fan. But John, just to give you a heads up, I don't know what's happened to Nick. He's just disappeared. He's AWOL currently. I think he could well still be celebrating Brighton's late equaliser against Liverpool, which is possibly why he's not here. But hopefully he gets in contact with me soon and comes on. But John, you've been making comments to the show. Thank you very much for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I enjoy the show. It's a great show, you guys. Any content football related, 49er related, I get a kick out of it. I enjoy the show, Pete. Thanks for having me on, brother.
No, you're welcome. Thanks for joining us. So obviously today, Sam is giving us a little bit of time before he travels. You traveling with your family a little bit later on, Sam, are you?
Yeah, the wife and daughter were headed back to North Carolina. This was the original day we were going back anyway, and with all the changes, we just kept it as is. I didn't really want to stay another 3 days. But to catch it on TV Tuesday night.
Excellent. Well, I'm hoping that a few of the guys will sort of possibly have a question or two to sort of fire at you, and we'll probably sort of deep dive a little bit into the Steelers-Ravens game and obviously what's been happening with the COVID issues in relation to this game. But first off, I would sort of know the biggest question for me, the one thing I want to ask you is, what was it like for you? I'm guessing, were you with Alex on draft night? Were you both together? And then it came around. What was that moment like for the two of you when obviously the Steelers came calling and wanted your boy to come and join the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yeah, we were all together draft night. The four core family and Alex's girlfriend Alyssa was with us. And actually two of his best friends were there as well. We felt good about the possibility of Pittsburgh drafting him. I want to say after his virtual meeting with Colbert and Tomlin, he came downstairs and was very, very positive about it. And I admit I actually kind of snuck upstairs and listened to the conversation. It's really cool hearing Mike Tomlin's voice. It just has that unique voice, and you know it from anywhere. And, that was really cool. And then from that point forward, a couple other people that we've met through this process told us that was the perfect place for him. How they used their outside linebackers. With his size, he wasn't undersized. Obviously, he's not a true defensive end. He is a outside linebacker size, and that's what Pittsburgh does. So we were hoping, as we got closer to the late 90s and I got to the 100s, we were saying Pittsburgh's still there, and we had a family Zoom call where part of my family, my wife's family, and really few close friends. Then he had a call from his Charlotte 49er teammates and friends. So we had 2 computers going on, plus the live feed from ESPN. And we were just kind of there. And I think it was when New England was picking or about to pick, he got a phone call and he noticed the area code and and it wasn't Pittsburgh, but it was Pennsylvania. He's told everyone, hush, 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 hush. And we all just kind of got quiet, and as we talked, and we knew it was real, and it was. It's so hard to really describe. After years, I've been a sports fan forever, so I've seen families celebrate that and actually feel that. And when I knew he was talking to Coach Tomlin, that was really exciting. Probably the most exciting of the bunch. And I heard him say, "Yes, Mr. Rooney." I mean, all that was it was crazy. And the cool thing about the COVID draft, he actually got Roger Goodell to say his name. Goodell normally only calls out first round. So that was also unique that Goodell actually said his name. And so we were all excited once he got the phone. We went crazy in there, had one of the local TV stations kind of, he was there kind of recording it, filming it. And then once it was announced, again on TV, then we all had another celebration. It was kind of cool. One of the a friend or family member saw I don't know if it was ESPN's or it was ABC's, but it was a feed that had a bunch of players that had been drafted, just like our cast here, where we had, 6 people. Well, they were like maybe 10 players, 10 or 12 players. But he picked up the phone right during that broadcast, so I think some people had a feeling he was getting called at the time. And we weren't looking at it, so we didn't see that until we went back and watched the replay. But I tell you, it was crazy. That call came, and all I remember was my phone vibrating constantly, ding, ding. You just feel the calls and you feel the text, and it was surreal. I've used that word so many times, and it's really the best way to describe it. Yeah.
It's great to hear. I mean, Simon, I don't know about you, but that almost brings a tear to my eye hearing a family story like that. I mean, it must be what every father or mother or brother or sister or whatever must dream of when their sibling or family member tries to sort of make it into the NFL, to get that call and all of a sudden celebrate together as a family. I mean, I'm sure it's a moment that you'll never ever forget, Sam.
We won't. I definitely won't, because it got to a point we knew he was going to be drafted. Really after the combine, we felt he'd be drafted, but he did so well at the combine, and he, as they say, earned some money. He moved up the boards, and there were still most people saying 4th and 5th, but our agent said there's a good chance at 3rd. So we were just hoping, and I think I probably tried to figure how I would feel at that moment, but it's like in a fog. It's really crazy, because you had to kind of keep yourself composed with the camera. It was an iPad with the camera on it and right in front of us, so you couldn't act too crazy. But it was. Yeah.
We saw some players, like some families of other players, go a little bit crazy. We would have forgiven you.
It's funny. I never remember somebody in the first round one dad fell on the floor. I don't know if he had staged, had a plan that, and that was so funny. And after they did something, I actually went and kind of ducked down and went to our Zoom and put the sound back on so the people on the Zoom could hear us talking. And someone thought I had fallen on the floor. I said, no. I was just kind of trying to stay out of the way of the ESPN camera. But
just avoid becoming a meme on draft day.
And that guy was great. I remember him. That was so funny.
There's already so many sort of great moments when you sort of see that draft. I mean, obviously Carlos Davis as well, who was drafted right at the end there, but his brother was drafted and they had the camera crew there, and the whole family and the brothers getting drafted. I mean, again, just all these special moments come draft time. It's absolutely great to see.
That's why I love the draft. Yeah, that's why it's my favorite NFL event of the year. Like even above the Super Bowl, just sitting there for 3 days, constantly just seeing, because every single guy has a story, right?
Yeah, I mean, it sucks not having a first round draft pick because obviously we all want to be sitting there on the first day, but unfortunately, it wasn't to be for us. But hopefully, we don't trade away. But it's a great trade. I get bringing Minka in, so we'll take that, right? Obviously, it's really interesting as well. Obviously, coming from Charlotte, I'm guessing obviously that the sort of big universities around there, NC State, UNC, and obviously Duke. I mean, I'm more known for them sort of teams being basketball sort of universities. I mean, I know the UNC Duke basketball games are absolutely off the hook. I mean, they are some of the most craziest, intense basketball games I've ever seen. But I guess it just proves that you don't have to be at one of these sort of big name colleges in one of the big divisions to be noticed, Sam. I mean, I guess, how early did you sort of realise in the season that Alex was sort of getting interest from some of these teams?
It honestly started at the end of his junior year. He had his breakout game, or his game he got the recognition outside of Conference USA, was the game at Tennessee. They beat us, but it was only, I want to say, they beat us 13-3. Really, really close game. Our defense was unreal. He got a sack in the first series. He ended up with officially a sack and a half and another tackle for loss, but he manhandled that guy. It was their backup tackle, but I'm sorry, an SEC backup is supposed to be better than anybody in Conference USA. I mean, but I was sitting there going, this is crazy. He actually is really good. So at the end of that season, there were a lot of teams that came to watch Charlotte at practice. So we felt pretty good. Several agents reached out to us, and I think we eventually decided around November which agency we went with. And so we felt good. And as he stayed at or near the top of the sack and tackle for loss lead in the NCAA, I mean, we felt very good about things. But being from a small school, there was still a lot of 5th, 6th, 7th round, but not really as much 7th round, but we definitely heard a lot of 4th, 5th, and 6th. So I was excited when he got the combine invite, but I knew that would be his chance to show. And to me, and I think a lot of people we've heard as well, his athleticism shine brightly there, and he showed that he belonged. And really, the funny thing was, you mentioned UNC and Duke. I'm actually a UNC graduate, so Alex grew up as a big Tar Heel fan, and we went to all the camps in the area. We went to Lions and States. And I don't think we went to Duke's. Went to Charlotte's. Went to all these camps because no one had really even talked to him at all before his senior year. And I have a picture of Alex with Coach Fedora, who was a coach at the time at UNC. And I keep wanting to do a tweet or a post saying, well, sometimes you can't. That raw talent is hard to figure out, Coach Fedora. Because I'm sitting there thinking about it. I don't think anybody at UNC during that time was drafted ahead of him. I mean, I think the earliest Stonebridge or Strawbridge, whatever his name was, he was the earliest UNC in. But he's outplayed all the guys who were basically there that he was playing against at the camp. But he was just a raw high school kid, maybe 180 pounds. Might have been 190, but probably close to 180, 85. It shows you what work does. And he is a classic example of hard work, and take an opportunity that's given to you, and he just went and excelled. And I mean, God-given talent, but also a work ethic that, I don't know, I won't say unmatched, but it's pretty up there.
That's great. Sam, let me introduce you to Nick. Nick's had a few technical difficulties down in his bunker, and he's finally with us. Nick, thanks for joining us, mate. Obviously, Sam's been filling us in with the information on draft day and getting that call and the experience, and it's great to talk to him. But obviously, great to have you on, Nick. Everything good?
Yeah, I'm good. Like a bad penny, Pete. You see, you can't keep me away, unfortunately. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Obviously, I explained to you, I sent a text, and I'm still dealing with that. But yeah, no, it's all good. Thanks to everyone for joining. Hi, Sam, Scott, Simon, Carl, and John down the bottom, all on his ass like celebrity squares. Look, there's so many people. Dion will be joining us shortly, and also Mike from Nothing But Niners, I think. So he might hop on his way to work. So we will actually probably almost have a full house, which is good. So continue to chat, guys. I'm just going to sit in the background for a while.
We'll carry on our Steelers chat. And Nick, I don't know if you need to send any extra emails out because none of them went out. So if you might want to just tap away and get your guys' email addresses sent out because none of them got sent out earlier. Okay.
No, they're all done. Dion's got it. Mike's got it, and that's the only two left to join. So okay. All good.
Well, I hope you don't mind. We're going to continue our conversation with Sam because I could just sit here and talk all day Steeler football. So let's tell us about the moment. Obviously, Alex got his first INT. I know me and Simon thoroughly enjoyed it, but I'm sure you were probably going absolutely crazy. Were you at the game, or were there fans in the stadium then? Or
I was at the game. There were limited fans, but me and my brother-in-law drove up. Actually, we did up and back. It was Baltimore's probably 5.5 hours from where my brother-in-law and my mother and sister live. So we drove up real early, got there. It was raining. It was nasty. We happened to be in the same end zone where the interception was when they ran towards. So right before that, I told my brother-in-law, let me pull the camera out. So I had my own iPhone out there, and I was videoing it. And I've done that. I did a bunch during college games, pro games. That was really the best seats we've had. Most seats we've had have been a little higher or a lot higher, like in Dallas and Jacksonville. But we were really close, and I caught all of it. I kept it clear, and I didn't jerk it one. I thought that was him, and I remember asking, "Was that Alex?" And he said, "Yeah." And I just started, "Yeah, my son, go son!" And it was crazy. I couldn't believe it. He has not had an interception since Pop Warner football and junior football. I'm not sure what y'all call it over there. It was probably he was in the 5th or 6th grade. Last time he had an interception. Never had one in middle school football. Never had one in high school. Never had one in college. So I would have bet a lot of money he would have gotten a sack before he got an interception. But as you guys were watching the game, that was a change of momentum. It really was. They were crushing us until that. So
that was perfect timing. Yeah, if you can do that every time we struggle in the first half.
Being a Steelers player, what team do you want to get your first INT against? It is against the Ravens in Baltimore. What a moment.
Against the MVP, and that's what so many people said, and we heard that, and I think I probably put that in one of my posts on Facebook or on Twitter. Get your first interception against the reigning MVP is crazy. And here's another irony. His redshirt freshman year, we played at Louisville, which was Lamar's Heisman Trophy year. And Alex was just on kickoff and punt return teams at the end. He got no snaps in the regular part of the game. Well, Lamar only played the first half, so he didn't even get a chance to tackle him or anything. So I joked with them during that week. I said, "Man, don't let him put you on a highlight reel now." And he kind of, "Don't worry, I won't." And just showed how much he's improved. And yeah, crazy. That makes the story that much crazier.
Yeah, he's doing great. I've got to say as well, it's nice to see the Highsmith Colour Rush jersey that you've brought to the show today for Thanksgiving. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see it Thursday night, but maybe we can sort of get the other fellas involved and we can maybe sort of start talking about what is going on with this week's game, because at the moment it seems as though it's going to be Tuesday, 8:30 Eastern time. Is that right?
That's what.
That's correct.
Yeah,
that's correct.
So, I mean, I don't know what your take is in it, Sam. I know that you're at the Jacksonville game, and they're obviously letting a lot of fans in there, and seeing some of the video footage that you were posting out on Twitter, there was a lot of Steelers fans there. But obviously, with this COVID, it seems as though that Ravens are still getting some positive results. So, that to me is the bottom line. You can't play a game if the dudes are still getting positive tests. If that stopped and it's negative, great, get the game underway. But if it keeps every day they're getting positive tests, I guess that's the reason for the delay. But how has it been have you been able to sort of, obviously I know you said you sort of saw Alex on Thanksgiving, but have you been able to speak to him? How are the guys coping with this? I mean, I know Joe Hayden's not coping with it very well because he's managed to crash his car, but how are the rest of the guys doing? Are they sort of kind of enjoying the extra break, or did they just want to get this game done?
they want to get it going. I think they were happy about the break on Thanksgiving itself, but it's just been a lot of indecision. And I mean, he doesn't post a lot of negative stuff. So my son, so I'm sure he probably thought it's the same as so many of these other guys. You know, all our guys did the right thing, but in essence, they're being punished. But safety is first. We totally understand that. And I kept hearing people talk about San Francisco was forced to play, but more I read into that, I realized what happened. These are different situations because in Baltimore, people keep getting positive tests, and it is frustrating. But to me, I'm kind of person, I always say any kind of controversy or adversity makes you stronger. So hopefully they can rally behind this and it'll be a positive. Everyone's talking about a forfeit. A lot of people were talking about a forfeit, but they don't get paid on the forfeit. So it's kind of like, I think those guys won't get paid. I mean, my son doesn't have as much money in his account as the other people, so that game check's important.
I mean, I don't know how much time we have with you today, Sam. So I'm just going to milk it for everything it's worth, and I'm just going to keep firing questions at you until you tell us to get lost and you start going on the road trip there. But
if you see me looking, I'm looking to see if they're coming upstairs, and they haven't yet. So at some point they will be like, okay, we're ready to go. So you're good.
We'll get some other guys talking about later on, but obviously Simon, I've got the UK Steelers podcast main man. No offense, Gav, but Simon, go on. I'm sure you're probably eager to ask Sam some questions. Go for it, bro.
Yeah, I don't want to go too far backwards. I know we spoke a little bit, Sam, about when you first started to think about getting drafted and whatnot. Is that the first time you really considered the NFL? Or Alex considered the NFL as a career option, or has this always been a plan, like going back to middle school and high school, or did you always consider this as a possibility, or when did you first see that sort of speck of pure talent and raw talent that you thought this might be an option?
I'll be honest with you, it was never a real option or thought. I'm a former educator, a principal, and a teacher for almost 30 years, so I believe in kids having goals, but also believe in realistic goals and having backup plans. Football, to me, what I wanted was him to have an opportunity to play high school football and be a starter. I mean, that's when we got into flag football and we got into Pee Wee, midget, all those divisions. All I cared about was giving him some practice to be able to do this. We played other sports. Played basketball was his first love. Goes back to my Carolina days and my love for basketball. And baseball was probably he was the best at, just consistently from the time he played t-ball up until high school. But football, just with his size, was was kind of the more obvious option. He was very he was a little pudgy, a little slow when his freshman and sophomore year in high school. It is crazy. I haven't posted it in a while, but his transformation from the end of his sophomore year to the beginning of his senior year, it's crazy. It doesn't even seem like it's real. But what do you call it? Hormones kicked in, metabolism kicked in, and he stayed in that weight room and he fell in love with the weights, and it's crazy. I would say in my mind, I heard him say after his redshirt freshman year about when he makes it to the league. And I remember to myself, saying, I'm not going to discourage because I know you don't do that. You let your child have their dreams. But in the back of my mind, I'm going, wow, that's pretty lofty. You haven't even started the game in college. You're talking about playing in the league. But he's a man of faith, and he's real strong convictions. And I guess in his mind, he had figured he would be able to do what he needed to do to get there. So applause to him. So, I mean, his mind then. But for me, it was more by the end of his junior year, it was a realistic option. I thought that he had a chance to play in the league. Even way back, I was looking at XFL, looking at all these options in case he doesn't make. I mean, my whole thing was planning everything, prepare for everything. So I had all these options. I even had some of those saved on my phone's bookmarks. So I guess I can delete that now. I don't think I need to worry about the XFL.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome.
I can't tell you. There was no way I thought he'd have improved as quickly as he did and be able to contribute like he had. It's been unreal. And I mean, I'm just rambling. So if you cut me off, I saw someone tweet something about Caleb Von Chasen, and Chasen was I think he was the second edge defensive end. Yep. Came outside linebacker behind Chase Young, played LSU, national champion. Someone put his stats compared to Alex's stats, and I was shocked. Not even maybe a quarter of the snaps, a quarter to a third of the snaps. He had more tackles They had more solo tackles. I think the only thing Caleb Vaughn had more of were hits on the quarterback. But he might have one more sack. He might have 2 sacks of Alice's one. But the bargain he's been for the Steelers compared to what they paid that guy, and I'm not taking anything away from him. He's a great player, obviously, but
Yeah.
I got to credit my co-host Gavin on the UK Steelers podcast. He was on Alex Highsmith early. It's funny. I claim Chase Claypool as my guy because I was on him early, and he was on Alex early. So I don't know if that had anything to do with that. I don't know if he's got an inside track to the Steelers organization and maybe he put a call in. But he was on Alex early and he liked him from the get-go.
Sam, I mean, I don't know obviously how much you can talk about the Steelers team or anything like that, but for me, I see the guys on the sideline, I see them on social media, and I appreciate when things are going well, everything is very different. But for me, the team at the moment seem to be buzzing. They seem to be a real great group of guys. Who out of the players, if you're allowed to say, who's sort of Alex's sort of best mate, who sort of put their arm around Alex and sort of really sort of brought him into the team and the franchise? Were you able to sort of go that sort of deep into stuff like that?
I think I'm safe to say, just from position wise, I mean, I think Bud and TJ. I don't know if TJ's said a little more, but TJ's a lot more quiet than Bud. They've done their rookie pranks with him. Not really pranks. He's had to earn his wings, so to say. But they both have been 100% supportive and talk to him about anything he wants to talk to. Cam Hayward has reached out and done some things. They do some things away from facility. And Eric Ebron, ironically, a North Carolina graduate, once he found out that Alex was from North Carolina, once he found out he had been a Target fan forever, they're good buds. They they play PlayStation games, compete all the time. But honestly, I had an early birthday gift. We were there between the game. That was my birthday in the middle of the week. But Alex brought Eric over to his apartment and surprised me. He was like, "Don't get in the shower yet." And I said, "Man, what are you talking about? We've got to leave." So I just kind of did some stuff up here, and all of a sudden he said, "You can come on down." And I heard a voice. I said, "I recognize that voice." I wasn't sure. It was Eric Ebron, and it was great. We talked for a while, and Alex and I were actually at the game Eric's last year when we came from behind and beat NC State. And, so that kind of puts it in perspective. I mean, just this is where he is right now. He's playing with
that is awesome.
Best record. I won't with that Kansas City jersey there. I'm gonna be careful not to say the best team, but because hopefully they'll get to meet in January. But he's playing with a team with the best record right now, and it is a family. It is a good team. I mean, obviously they're guys, they're people on it make mistakes like any other organization, but from what I've heard from him, he's really very family friendly and very supportive. So it's been good.
Yeah, Simon, I'm sure you can probably say the same as me. I mean, seeing Ebron, I know he's not putting up some sort of big numbers this year, but he seems like a character that fitted in the dressing room really, really well. And you can tell that the guys get on with him. And there just seems to be a great sort of almost like a college-like atmosphere going on with the guys that we're seeing. But I appreciate when you're winning, it's all very different than when you're losing. But at the minute, we'll just ride that wave. We'll keep enjoying what we're seeing. And
it's such a great change from the drama of previous years. You know, there's names I won't go into, but we've had drama in the past, and this is just a great season to kind of move past all that. We got a great group of guys, and Ebron, like you say, maybe not massive numbers, but he's been so important to the third down game and the red zone game along with Chase. So yeah, it's a great season for us so far.
Indeed. Well, I'll open it up to the rest of the guests there because I don't know how much longer we've got. Sam, is there anybody that wants to ask Sam a question? Because if not, me and Simon can keep them sort of going for forever, I'm sure. But does anybody else want to ask Sam a question?
Sam, how you doing?
Hi.
I'd like to know what kind of sacrifices did you guys have to make as a family to help put your son on this road to, the best days of his life?
I think with all the sports, keeping him involved and everything, if he wanted to do it and he was doing the right thing academically, doing his schoolwork. My kids were both very successful academically, so we're fortunate. So we did what we needed to do. I mean, my wife probably sacrificed as much as anything. I mean, besides just teaching, she's a high school math teacher, teaches AP Calculus and pre-cal and all that tough math. She took on a second job of teaching in virtual. This is way back before COVID, so she was teaching doing two jobs to have extra money so we could travel and do what we need to do with him. My daughter was into competitive dance, so we did all those things. So pretty much they wanted to do it, and they were doing the right thing as kids and as students. We did it for them. Football, luckily, is not expensive. It's not like some of the other sports. There's no travel football. So I mean, you play, you get your cleats, you get your. I mean, it's the least expensive. So that part was easy. As he started playing in college, we wanted to go as many games as we could. I mean, I went to his very, very first game at Louisville. He didn't play a whole lot, so we probably went to maybe take that back, 2 or 3 away games and went to every home game. And that was consistent all the way to the senior year. We went to every game. We were going to go all 12 of them. I even gave up family reunions and other things because for the funding, I was going to put it towards just doing what he needed us to do. But me, I was always a part of it. When he played youth sports, I helped coach everything, and I was part of everything. Basketball was my favorite, so that's the one I was the head coach of. But I assisted with everything else up to middle school when I was the administrator there, so I couldn't be a coach, and I wouldn't have wanted to be the coach. I mean, that would have been a major conflict of interest. But just being at games is what we did. But if they wanted it and they were doing the right thing, we found a way to make it happen.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. I was curious. I just wondered what kind of sacrifices does a family make throughout their son's career before they know he's going to make it to the big leagues, you know? I was always curious. I just wanted to know, and it obviously takes some sacrifice on one side of the coin or the other. In this case, your wife made significant changes just to help, adapt to the situation, get you guys situated with financial circumstances, and I applaud her for that. You guys are very blessed.
And luckily, my job being an administrator wasn't as tough when I had to miss a day because I had to get a sub or anything. So I mean, it was pretty easy for us to attend everything. And I mean, like I mentioned earlier, my daughter probably had to sacrifice some things she wanted to do, but she was with us, particularly for the younger games. I mean, she cheered for him when he played Part 1 football, so that was kind of a family thing. We were all together. She didn't cheer for him in high school. She cheered after. There's 2 years difference. So after he graduated, then she cheered her 2 years, which I'm kind of glad. I mean, it kind of been more about him, so it's about her as opposed to her cheering for her daughter, her brother. She was just cheering. But we made a point. I mean, he's a very sharing, caring kind of person. He's really giving. And that's legitimate him. That's not a fake thing about him. He cares about other people. I mean, I said, better person than I am. I mean, I've shared some knowledge and shared some things I've done through education and through just life in general. But I mean, he's taken that and just taken it to the next level. He's a neat guy.
Awesome. Great question, John. Great question. I think some of all this sort of gets forgotten. We see these professional stars on the field week in, week out, and I think sometimes we forget that there is a big family behind all these guys and what they've sacrificed to get these stars out on the field to enable us to enjoy them every week. So yeah, absolutely, Sam. It's great to have someone like yourself putting yourself out there, coming onto a show like this and giving us some intel. We thoroughly appreciate it. Thank you.
It's an honor to me. I mean, it's kind of cool. I've been on a couple other things, and I just like, you want to talk to me? It's really funny. The funniest thing so far this year, we were at I think it was the Jacksonville game. Yeah, we were in the restaurant, me and my cousin, and some guy that said, "You Alex Highsmith's dad?" I said, "Oh yeah." So I follow you on Twitter. So we were talking, and then he came back like not even 10 seconds later. Can I get a picture? I was like, okay. I just kind of laughed about that. It was funny. Well, we were in front of the urinals, and my cousin said, "Hey, we need to move away. Let's get to the wall over here." And he's supposed to have posted that picture and tagged me, and he hasn't done it yet. So I keep waiting. That's gonna be funny. But little things like that, which makes me realize how big NFL is and what these people think of these guys. And to me, they're just guys. I mean, they're just guys.
So when you go to the game then, Sam, are you in a section that is with the parents and the friends and family, or do you just get seats that are in with the general public and you're just there like a regular fan with your mask on with the terrible towel?
It's a combination of that. At Pittsburgh, they're non-parent, or excuse me, I need to say family. I'm thinking about college. They're non-family members near us. We're not close. We're all spread out. It's kind of mixed in. At away games, we're just wherever. There's no general sections. I haven't seen any other NFL parent. Take that back. Baltimore, we were kind of the Edmonds parents were to our left, and there was one other family. I think it was Ray McLeod's family was near us. So I think Baltimore actually kind of kept them near. And ironically, Baltimore's given us the best seats of any of the away teams. Which thought would be the opposite.
Funny thing, Sam, you say about having your picture taken in the restroom. Pete normally does that kind of thing because we went to an NFL event in London where they had the Around the NFL podcast crew there.
Guilty.
Pete goes into the restroom and Greg Rosenthal's there. So he has his picture taken with him, not at the urinals, I might hasten to add, but yeah, he stalked him into the restrooms and had his picture taken with him.
No,
so
Pete.
I think whether that's the kind of place that Pete always meets stars, I really don't know. Want to say a quick shout out and hello because I know he's been sat there for a little while. Dion, how you doing, man? Good for you to join us. We're going to obviously get into some NFL chat shortly, and also Mike from the Nothing But Niners crew is with us as well. I guess he's driving on his way to work, possibly. So yeah, welcome along, both of you. And yeah, Sam, it's great to hear your story. And there's Pete with Greg Rosenthal in the restroom.
See, I did tell Nick that we'd get Greg Rosenthal on the show one day, and I didn't lie.
It looks like you're taking your stepson to your first ever game.
Well, guys, I got a text from Alex, and he said they are ready. But I found that picture. It's kind of before and after. This picture, I'm trying to make sure there's no glare on it. Oh, come on, Highsmith. For some reason, I'm getting glare. I can't see it really well. Shoot.
Yeah, we can see him bulking up for sure, Sam.
The picture, yeah, on his left, the chubby, that was the sophomore year. After football season, the one on the right is beginning of the senior year. I mean, still a whole lot heavier now, but yeah, that weight just all that extra weight went away.
Well, Sam, thank you very much for joining us today. Obviously, all I can say is let's hope Alex stays fit and healthy. I hope you and your family have a lovely holiday season. Really, really appreciate you from the bottom of my heart coming onto our show today. It is a true honour. Thank you very much. I love hearing your stories, and if you can wish Alex the best from all the Steelers fans over here in the UK, and we wish him a great and prosperous career at the Pittsburgh Steelers. We love seeing him on the field.
Thank you. Honored to me. I really appreciate this opportunity. So
we appreciate
you guys.
Get you back on again later on in the year, maybe if you can. We'd love to have you back on, definitely.
Hey, I'm available. I'm on medical leave. My mother's 92 and has some medical conditions going on now, but actually taking this leave time between now and when I can officially retire. So I have a lot of flexibility, so I can do. If you guys want me back, I'll be back.
We appreciate you, sir. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Take care, Sam.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Bye, Sam.
Wow.
There you go. You know, we try our best to get diversity on here and different people from thing, and that's pretty cool that we've actually managed to get the father of an NFL player. I thought that was pretty cool, Pete. What do you reckon?
Yeah, as I was saying, I mean, you missed the beginning bit. I mean, the ultimate question for me, I wanted to ask him what that moment was like when obviously, he's there with his son getting the call. And, I almost had tears in my eyes listening to the story. I mean, I love these little sporting events that me and you have done with like Brighton and Hove Albion, and hearing ex-pros and people that are just great talkers. And I can just sit there chat to them and listen to their stories forever. It's great, and I think that's probably why we're all fans, because we just can listen and love and enjoy and realise that there's some great stories out there. And what a great guy Sam was. Fantastic. What a guy.
Definitely.
Good.
He's clearly got like a great support structure there, right, with Sam and his family, and you can see that with the kind of guy that Alex is, I think.
It's just little stories like when Ebron comes around his house and PJ and Bud are just sort of, I mean, it's crazy to sort of think that these guys are there, but I guess it's not all sort of glamour. You've got to work hard to get there. So these guys thoroughly deserve it because they do sacrifice a lot to get where they are. Fellas, I'm sorry if I took over there, but for me that was a big deal. I kind of wanted to have a chat with him, but Nick and the rest of the guys, the floor is yours. Let's continue the regular Shank Club NFL show. I mean, you hanging around with us, mate, and chatting some ball?
Yeah, sure thing. Let's do it.
Sweet. Look, Nick, you kick on, buddy. I've just got to go to the restroom. Kick on, and I'll be back in a minute, mate.
Nick now presents the 49ers hour.
This time, no pictures.
Yeah,
Mike.
no pictures, Pete.
Mike.
He's just
How you doing, bro?
in the bathroom.
What's going on, fellas? I don't know if you guys can hear me. My reception's in and out, so I apologize if you guys can't hear me. But I'm enjoying the stories, man. Pictures in bathrooms. I mean, when I was growing up, that was something we were told not to do. So I get it. All the ones that I have, I can't show. I got my daughters with me in the car here, so I can't talk about the pictures I took in restrooms either.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, Mike. I think Pete has an affliction for doing things like that, but that's another story. That's probably why he kept him in there just to take a picture with him. It's quite bizarre because when we've been to the London games, he's walked past people that he didn't even know who they were. I mean, if anyone's seen Jeff Reinbold on our show before, Pete walked straight past him, didn't know who he was, which was quite funny. Who's that you having a picture with? I said, it's Jeff Reinbold from Sky NFL. Oh, yeah. And, it's just he's oblivious. Well, it's probably because he's half shocked by the time we get to the thing where we see these people. Leon, how you doing, man? Good to have you on. Good to speak to you.
Hey, man, I'm doing good, man. I appreciate y'all having me on. I've seen you actually on the Nothing But Niners show. I see you got the merch on and everything. Mike, what's going on? Don P, everybody, Simon, Carl, Mr. Rogers, Pete, how are all y'all doing? And Mike, I see you got the girls in the car, man. Get the shotguns ready. You got some beautiful little girls. I got 3 of them. Believe you me, I keep it with me.
That's right. Locked and loaded, baby, all day.
Hey, Mike, Dion, obviously great to have you on. Sorry, I didn't mean to ignore you earlier on. I didn't know how much time we were going to have with Sam, but obviously it is great to have you fellas on. Thanks for joining us. Just to get back to that story, Nick, I do know and did know who Jeff Reinbold was. But as per usual, you don't go to the bar, so there's all of the fans in the tailgate party. I'm looking for the bar, and I don't expect to be walking past Jeff Reinbold in amongst all the fans. That is why I didn't notice him, because I was looking for the bar, while as per usual, you were waiting for your drink, you lazy git.
You don't have a dog and bark yourself, bro. You should know that, right? I'll quite happily pay for someone to go to the bar if it means I don't have to. So that's cool. John, good to see you. It makes a change to see you actually on screen as opposed to in the comment section, bro. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, my friend. I'm glad to be here. I enjoy the show. You guys crack me up. It's a lot of fun watching you and Pete go at it. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it.
Well, he's obviously forgotten to pay his electric bill this week because he's got no lights on in the garage. So
I have got lights in the garage, but the sun was shining when I eventually got here, and now it's kind of got dark, and I can't be asked to switch the light on. And a lot of people will probably say I look better in the dark anyway. So
I'm not being funny. Look, I mean, Mike's on the show and he's driving his vehicle with his family, and he's looking absolutely quality, and you're there in the garage, and no one can see you.
That's fine, but yeah, Mike is a bit fly, especially if you've got those feelers on. He does love a feeler. I don't know if he got any. It was his birthday last week.
No feelers today, though.
No feelers today.
Just drive safely, Mike. We don't want to see another Joe Hayden car crash episode. So you make sure you're driving safe. Right, Nick, what are we going to talk about, mate? Obviously, we've got a few Niners fans on here, and as much as I hate talking Niners, I guess it's going to be rude not to...
Scott's shaking his head already.
We might have to talk about,
Well, it's just typical. I said I was bringing on, a father of an NFL Steelers player, and what's he have to do? He's got to throw all the Niners guys on the show today. It's like
Stack the deck.
Welcome to the 49ers on with Nick.
I just noticed Mr. Rogers.
Gang Niners gang, they do represent, so fair play. And over on the West Coast, I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's very early over there, so fair play to the lads.
Yeah, it's about 8:42 over here, man. Yeah, it's 8:42 in the morning.
Man, that's awesome. 8:42, and you've got up to join the Shank Club NFL. A lot of respect for you, Dion. Thanks, man.
Hey, man, that's all right. I'm an early bird anyway, so I'm very appreciative of y'all having me on. That I just saw Mr. Rogers' AFC Championship footage there. I didn't notice that at first because I was too busy paying attention to the guy's dad, and then I saw that. I was like, oh, why do we have that in here?
Oh, he's always sitting there with a massive smug face, knowing that his team's there with a cigar on. Just everything's easy for him, so he just sits there looking smug. He'll be there come the AFC Championship game, and then me and Simon will have the last laugh. So don't you worry about that.
What's not that easy for him is the Raiders.
Good luck.
Seem to keep giving you problems this year.
Oh yes.
If you knew how funny that was to hear somebody say that about being a Chiefs fan after a miserable life of disappointment and blown games in the playoffs, you just have no idea how crazy it is to have people say that about you being a Chiefs fan. It's crazy, man. But yeah, no, you kick a rock over and apparently 10 49ers fans run out from underneath it. So I don't know what the deal is.
Scott brings the humour on this show. I love it. Humour is great.
It's amazing. We keep getting Scott back on with barbed comments like that, but it's always nice to have him on because he's either doing his Elmer Fudd impression with his hunting gear on, or he wears a dishcloth like he's got on at the moment. You never know what's going to turn up. I mean, even Pete's got that stoppy towel behind him. He's had to wipe his hands on.
I'm just wondering how much Scott paid in the eBay raffle for Roger Goodell's chair that he had during the draft that he's sitting on at the moment. Did you pay quite a bit for that, Scott? Did you?
What's that?
It looks like you must have paid a lot of money for that Roger Goodell leather sofa that you're sitting on. That was the one he had on while he was doing the draft, wasn't it?
I got Rogers hand-me-downs. So
that was in the salute to service raffle or the crucial cap one, obviously.
One of those two. I can't remember which one it was.
You're right. Well, let's talk some ball, Nick. Why don't we get straight into the Niners Rams game, seeing as we've got these guys here, because it's an interesting game. Why don't you lead away?
Okay, let's pick some games. 49ers Rams. Now, I see that apparently the Niners don't have any middle linebackers now. They've gone on the COVID list. So Dion, Mike, John, and me, we might have to fly in and play the linebacker slot over there because it's getting pretty damn thin over there.
Nick, I'm not being funny. If there's a choice between the four of you, mate, I don't think you're going to be playing linebacker out of these guys.
Trust me, I'd get more game time than Tebow did.
Although I reckon you would have done better than that kid that you made flag off.
I know he's your ultimate favourite player. But, I've got more chance of getting in the NFL than Tebow has, mate.
Mate, don't get me started on Tebow. I heard one of the presenters on Good Morning Football say that Taysom Hill is everything that Tebow wasn't. It's like, hold on a minute. This guy played one game. Tebow came in a 1-4 Broncos team and took him to the playoffs and got absolutely mugged off by bloody Elway. And all of a sudden, Taysom Hill comes in for one game and he's the Tebow that never was. Fuck off. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Hey, Pete, Tebow didn't have.
Pete, we do have children listening to this, so it is a family show at the moment.
Tebow didn't play receiver, tight end, or running back. So.
Kids are in the car, sorry, man.
Always.
I'm sure they can't understand the swears through the accent, so don't worry about it, guys. You guys are all right.
I don't know why Pete would be bashing Tebow. He took care of you guys in the playoffs, didn't he?
Yeah, but back then I wasn't a Steelers fan, I was a Tebow fan. So
yeah, funnily enough, Pete did like the minor league baseball team. I think that Tebow played for about one season, and then of course he got cut from that because he was rubbish at that.
I'll tell you what, one day I'm going to get Tebow on here and we're going to have a proper discussion because
we're not.
There's no one on here that knows any more about Tebow than me, and I can assure you the guy got absolutely mugged off because of who he was and his faith. That guy did more for college football than most QBs have ever done. I know he wasn't the greatest passer, but that guy knew how to win games. He got absolutely mugged off when Elway decided to bring Manning in. I'm not having this discussion today. We'll save it.
As I always say, that is why I like Horseface, because he got his ass out the door. But that's another story.
There's too much love for Tebow going on in there.
Anyway, we're sidetracked. Pete, shut up. We're talking 49ers Rams. John, do we have a chance of actually doing something in this game? I mean, the season's lost. GG's out. Well, it's probably easier to ask who's out than who's in at the moment because I've got no idea who's going to be playing that linebacker position.
And you've got less players than the Baltimore Ravens.
Safeties, corners, who knows who's going to be in the middle. John, do we have a chance?
Nick, it's going to be tough. We literally have just about 2 linebackers left in the building, and we don't know what we are going to see out of it. Look, if you can keep Nick upright and protect that right side, maybe we just got to get the ball off. I don't know. I really am afraid for the outcome of tomorrow's game. I really don't know if we have a chance, Nick. I'm nervous. He doesn't do well with pressure, so I don't know. Aaron Donald's not going to give up another game, not after the controversy he took, the criticism. I just don't think that you're going to see a pushover this time around. With one skill at center, McKivitz, I don't know. It's scary. It's really scary.
Well, John, there's too many head nods like that. John's looking like he's really panicking and scared about this game.
I'm not gonna lie, Pete. It's scary, brother. We are just about a shell of ourselves, if that, at this point. And I don't really know if we have everything that it's going to take. We have some offensive weapons coming back, might make it a lot better, but Jesus, we don't even know how Harrison and Jonas Griffin are going to put up a fight. We have no idea. I don't even know what they can do. So we'll see.
It's definitely scary times being a Niners fan, and only really because of obviously the injuries and what's going on there. Dion, do you hold even just a sliver of hope that we can actually come out of this game without any more injuries and actually win this game?
No, there is no hope. Hope at all. Let me tell you exactly what happened. We have Marcel Harris playing linebacker. You know what Marcel Harris does good? He tackles. He's all right at tackling. Better against the run than he is in attack. And we had to put him in linebacker. We have Jonas Griffith, a guy whose college tape does not lead you to any hope that this young man is going to be worth a dime in the NFL. I watched his college tape. He's trash. So we have 2 dudes inexperienced that are going to be starting alongside Fred Warner. Now, the fact that they're starting alongside Fred will make them look better, and Fred will try to lead them as best he can. Am I happy that Tarvarius Moore is in the game? Yes, because I want him to play safety. But you got to think about it. If you have look at our line, our O-line. If Trent Williams doesn't play, you're going to have Justin School, Laken Tomlinson, Daniel Brunskill, Colton McKivitz, and Mike McGlinchey, who can't pass pro to save his life. Nick Mullins is going to die on Sunday, unfortunately. They're going to kill him. They're going to kill him. Why is Ronald Grasu not back at center? Why is Daniel Brunskill not kicked back over to guard? They played that when they had that line, and Trent was able to start. You know what happened? They handled Aaron Donald. So what is going on, Kyle? Why don't you want to put Ronald Grasu back in at center? Why are you auditioning Colton McKivitz to get murdered by Aaron Donald?
The whole point of your offensive line is the first port of contact is the center. If the center crumbles, it doesn't matter what your blindside tackle, your right tackle do. It'll just completely swarm all over you.
And that's what's been happening with Daniel Brunskill. He's been crumbling. That's why I've said, like, the line has to be right now, Trent Williams, Laken Tomlinson, Hroniss Grasu, Daniel Brunskill, and Mike Lynchy. That's the way it worked the last time we won, and that's what they should be doing. But Kyle Shanahan, once again, is on his little high horse. I don't like Hroniss today, so I'm going to put Daniel in there. Daniel's going to stay, and we're going to put Tom Compton, the worst player ever, at guard. I'm going to stop. I'll go on forever, man.
I was feeling really upbeat when I asked that question. Now I feel like I need to, drink myself into oblivion.
I will be tomorrow. I will be. I'm going to celebrate. That game going to stress me out. I'm going to lose some hair, everything.
What a difference 10 months makes, guys. What a difference 10 months makes.
Yeah, well, the Steelers were trash, and now somehow they're doing
we were never trash. We were never trash. We just lost our QB1, and unfortunately, the reindeer just wasn't there to pull the reins in. And
it's all right. We'll wait for the Niners to go 8-8 with a backup quarterback before.
They keep saying that you didn't have Big Ben last year, Pete, but I mean, Duck Hodges couldn't throw 3-yard slants. I mean, come on, man.
The man's name was Duck. What do you
wasn't in the running for coach of the year, going 8-8 for no reason, Scott.
He got turned into overcooked duck.
But I mean, Duck could have thrown these 3-yard slants and 5-yard curl passes to guys 2 yards downfield, Pete. I mean, what's the big deal?
I'll tell you what. Let's just flip the conversation round, Scott. Obviously, a fan of a team that knows how to beat the Niners. How do the Rams get the job done this week?
Just by turning up.
I feel bad almost for the 49ers. I mean, they're going to have to change the name to the 19ers after COVID and all the injuries they've had. Because that's they're only going to have 19 guys to play the game coming up here the next few weeks. So, they get Raheem Mostert back. And if I was the 49ers, I would just run with Raheem Mostert and try to just kill the clock and win a close, ugly game. That's about the best chance they got. I still don't think the Rams though are some world beater, not some a great team. So I'm going to pick the Rams, but I think there's a path the 49ers could probably use running the ball and trying to play some defense and win a close, ugly game. Would be my best bet for them.
Yeah. Mike looks like he wants to join the conversation here.
Big dog, talk to me.
Yeah, let me offer a little sliver of hope for the Niner faithful out there, and it's as thin as possible. But little birdie told me that it's not guaranteed that both of those linebackers miss this game yet. So there's still a chance that one of, if not both of those guys, get in there. But aside from that, with Shanahan, the reason he was successful against Aaron Donald the last time we played them is because it was such a quick run game. We avoided the middle of the field. The passes weren't real passes. They were those little shovel passes to the jet sweep motion of the wide receivers. Jimmy didn't have to hold on to the ball, for the longest amount of time. You can be the best interior lineman in the league, which Aaron Donald is supposed to be, right? But if there's no time to get to the quarterback, you're ruled and you're nullified. You're ruled ineffective. So the Niners can do that. I think that they have a beefier offensive line today. What they're going into this game with. Tom Compton ruled out with the concussion. He's going to miss the game, and so the offensive line is going to be better suited for the run game. And I don't think that's a coincidence that Raheem Mostert is back, the guy who can put his foot in the ground the fastest, hit the hole, and explode. Raheem Mostert is going to change the way that defense lines up against our team, not the quarterback, not the wide receivers, but Raheem Mostert, because that speed is so respected. They know if they are off by one step, Raheem Mostert can take it 70-plus yards to the house. And so I do think that there is a small game plan on the offensive side of the ball. As far as the defensive side of the ball goes, I think the Rams are going to focus on the run game. I think that, they struggled in the run game against Tampa Bay. I think they had a total of 37 rushing yards.
That's right.
That's not a way to sustain success. And I think that because of how beat up or, maybe the lack of practice for the linebackers, I think that's going to give them an opportunity to take advantage of that and maybe run the ball with a little success. And if they do that, then they control the time of the clock, so on and so forth. And that's probably how the Rams win this game. I don't think that they're going to throw all over the field like they did with Jared Goff against.
It's funny you say that, Mike. Obviously, you're saying there about the Rams potentially sort of running the ball. Obviously, they weren't doing very well against the Bucs, so they had to sort of chuck it out there. And for the first time in Rams franchise history, I thought they had two wide receivers in the game that got over 10 receptions each through Kupp and Woods. So I don't know. Maybe Dion, you can sort of answer this question. What's the secondary sort of looking like for the Niners? Are they going to sort of be right up against it with Kupp and Woods sort of catching all these passes that Goff's sort of chucking their way?
That's actually a plus for us, because we got Richard Sherman coming back. We have Emmanuel Mosley. We have Jamar Taylor. We have Jason Verrett. So the secondary part of the thing is not, that's not the negative thing. It's actually pretty good. We're actually going to be, in a good spot there. That I'm not worried about because I feel like Jamar Taylor will shut down Cooper Kupp. They'll throw him in the slot. And then all we have to really worry about is Robert Woods. We have Jason Verrett and Richard Sherman on him in either way. Fine. I would like to see Jason Verrett travel with Robert Woods, but our scheme doesn't call for that. So unfortunately, that's not something we'll see. Because if you have him travel with him wherever he goes, then that works. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I joked with John. I had John on my show, and I joked with John. I told him, I said, man, I want Verrett to be that stick to glue guy. We were talking about the bathroom earlier. If Robert Woods is in the bathroom, go with him. Make sure if he got to take a piss, you right there. If he's dropping the deuce, you're knocking on there saying, hold on. You're pulling the Austin Powers there. You're going, hold on. Hey, everything's going to be okay. There you go. Bite your teeth and give it hell. I mean, I want him to be on him because if we shut down their receivers, they have no running game. And they're basically running our system. It's a copycat of our system. Sean McVay is just running a knockoff of Kyle Shanahan's offense. So I guarantee you on the defensive side, as far as our defensive backs, I'm not worried about that in the least bit. But our linebackers, if we can't get at least one of those guys in, if we can at least Bray in, then I don't mind Marcel playing, weak side linebacker or something. I don't want to see two inexperienced linebackers trying to play positions they don't know, and then us wind up getting beat there. Because we can be good as far as that goes. Our defensive backs, please, I'm not worried about that. That's the plus. That's the bright spot. Is our defensive backs. We'll be good there.
Man, listening to these guys, I really wish that I'd grown up being an NFL fan, having it as my main sport rather than soccer, because it's so cool just hearing these guys knowing every little part of the game. And for me, I wish I was just even an ounce knowledgeable as you guys about this game. I really do.
Thing that amazes me, Dion, like you were saying, Dion, how the hell do you get concussion in a fucking walkthrough? I mean, that is pathetic. Ridiculous. How can you get concussion in a walkthrough? I mean, I know he's cracked, and thank God he's not playing, but Tom Compton.
Nick.
Come on.
Nick, Juju Smith-Schuster got a foot injury by a yellow flag this week, so any injuries can happen, man.
On my YouTube channel, we have a little segment called Wazzock of the Week. We haven't made one this week, but after what I've just seen on the comment, yeah, definitely.
Right, Nick, let's go around the horn.
Let's go around the horn. Wait, Rams, Niners,
taking the Rams, mate. Taking the Rams. Oh, hold on a minute, Nick. You didn't give me a chance because I did say I was going to be bringing in the fork for the 49ers because this week it's official. The Niners are forked, mate. They're done. They're forked.
Don't worry, lads. When I see you on Monday, I'm going to punch you right in the face. Simon, 49ers Rams. There you go.
Yeah, it's going to be no surprise. I'm going to stick with the Rams as well. I'm with you, Pete.
Carl.
The 49ers are right at this minute in time. They're like that knight in the Monty Python films. You've cut his arm off. Oh, no, it's a flesh wound. They're still alive for some fucking reason. I don't know why. I'm taking the Rams in this game. Donald is, that O-line is going to have a big, big problem to deal with. And Brockers as well. So I'm taking the Rams.
You've already chose, Scott. You already said the Rams. John, am I going to be a lone wolf on the Niners?
Look, Nick, there's one thing I don't do, and I don't bet against my team. I'm going to take my Niners. I don't know how, but I take my team. I can't sell out on my team. I've never taken an opponent over my team. So somehow, some way, Nick, I'm with you, brother. We're going to pull this out. We're going to pull it out. If it's going to take Nick on a stretcher, if Fred Warner is the only linebacker that's capable of playing the position, I see the Niners somehow, some way staying alive. They really, if we've proven anything, Nick, we've proven that adversity is nothing when it comes to injury. We have sustained injuries, even in a Super Bowl appearance, games leading up to. We have suffered. We never had a starting center. Come on, brother, let's take our Niners one way or another. We squeak by.
I do like the optimism. I don't know what Dion's going to say. Is he going to bring us back down to earth, or is he still on the Shanna train? Dion.
Look, this is probably one of the harder decisions that I have to make, man, because there's so many things that I see that just don't believe that we can pull this off. But I'm gonna go. Me and John are very similar, man. My dog, I gotta roll with him, man. I gotta roll with my Niners. Yeah, it's gonna be a nail biter, and I'm gonna tell you right now, if some way, somehow we win this game, it's gonna be by 3 points, maybe 1 point. I don't know, but I'm rolling with my Niners. And the reason that I'm rolling with us is because I do believe our defense will hold us down as long as we have at least Fred and Dre. Then we don't have to worry about the other guy. The weak side linebacker is worth nothing. We'll be fine. So I'm gonna roll with my Niners.
Yes,
that's what I like to see. That's what I like to see because watching this, Twitter will blow up if a Niners fan picked the Rams. Mike. I don't like you shaking your head at me, my man.
You guys are gonna make me be the bad guy on the show. You picked the Niners with your heart, but what does your mind tell you, right? If you had to wager the next 3 months of mortgage on this game, which team?
Mike, no, don't do that.
Time out. Just as a disclaimer, I wouldn't. I would just stick it on the team that's playing the Jets. So.
Well, there you go. I'll put you on, Carl.
That's fair.
I think if Nick had to put $20 on it, he'd still pick the 49ers.
The 49ers, yeah.
I'm still gonna put them in my parlay bet tomorrow to win, and they'll probably let me down with all the other. There's no way, as banged up as this team are.
If there's one thing I've learned about betting, never ever put your own team in your accumulator. Never, because it's always going to fuck you up.
Come on, Mark. Keep it real, Mark. Keep it real.
No, and the truth of the matter is there is, like I said, there is a chance that the Niners win this game, and this is the NFL. A lot of teams have this tendency to play down to the competition. The Rams are going to view the 49ers as this battered, bruised team that they should beat, right? They're going to come in here and say that. And the Niners looked okay against the Saints during the scripted plays and the 2-minute drill, but it was what happened afterwards, right? It was what happened in between that time, and the Niners just can't seem to get anything going. I also think it was because they didn't have any real wide receivers on the field. We have Debo back, we have Mostert back, and there's a possibility that even Ayuk comes back and plays. It changes things drastically for this team. The Niners can win this game. The Niners can win this game. People that feel like they're going to win shouldn't be nervous, but I'm not taking the Niners.
Go at Mike 49ers, Mike _NFL, Michael.
That is his name. His name is 49ers. Mike.
You know, that showed bravery. Well done. I applaud you for that.
Honestly, you're going to be excommunicated for life.
The thing is, though, 3 Englishmen and 2 Americans are picking their choices on common sense. The rest of you are just picking the choices on hope.
Yeah,
Like, hope when we absolutely smash the shit out the Pats, hope, or when we beat the Rams before hope.
Man.
Forgot, Carl, because obviously you haven't got your hat on or any jersey on, and you're
right. Okay. Can I just say this? Can I say this as a disclaimer here? Yeah, everyone's wearing their franchise kit, and I understand that. I am wearing a Queen's t-shirt because Freddie Mercury died on 24th of November 1991, so it was his anniversary at Gwent Park. So I'm rocking out a Queen t-shirt. Okay, so I'm paying homage to one of the greatest singers and the greatest performers of all time.
Doing cocaine in representation of Maradona. I can't believe I called Maradona Madonna on my own fucking program.
Hey, Carl.
Man, R.I.P. to Freddie Mercury, man. That dude.
Absolutely.
Hey, Carl, if my team lost to the Texans, I wouldn't wear their shirt the next week either.
Oh, shit.
Have that.
I think they're really glad they got Cam Newton in as QB, the saviour. What are they, 4-7 now? Something like that?
Kyle.
There you go, Callie. That's right.
Mike is letting you down, Callie. Get on Twitter and let him have it. Right.
We're giving way too much airtime to the 49ers. Let's go on to the next game. It's got to be, before we lose Simon in the pitch black dark, we might as well start talking Steelers-Ravens, Nick, right?
Yeah, if the game goes ahead, Ravens, that's all I'm going to say. I'm always... I don't care. I keep telling you people,
You have got
former teams. I don't care. I'm always betting against the Steelers.
Right. Where's that fucking mute button? Right.
Well, that's not even
Even if the Ravens have to play RG3 with crutches or a walking boot, they're still going to beat the Steelers.
Right.
Ravens.
Simon, obviously, RG3 is going to be playing by the sound of it. So give us your breakdown of what you think you're going to see Steelers-Ravens on Tuesday night.
Listen, the thing with the Steelers-Ravens is it almost doesn't matter about all these guys that are missing. I know Lamar Jackson, right? We've done a great job of shutting down Lamar Jackson for the most part when we played him. He's got a pretty poor record against us in terms of, you know, if you just go by the game film and the games that he's played against our defense, he struggles, right? You can almost throw that out, the records and everything when it comes to the Ravens and the Steelers, because these teams always play each other close, right? The first game came down to the Steelers halting the Ravens on like the 20-yard line and Minka deflecting the pass in the end zone to win it, right? This game will end up being close. It always is, assuming it goes ahead. Their running game is going to be adversely affected, obviously. They're missing J.K. Dobbins and they're missing Mark Ingram as well, right? So they're going to be running the Gus Edwards train down our throat. I think we can do a pretty good job. We struggled in the run game against the Ravens the first time, which is rare for us, right? But they presented us with some exotic play. But listen, I think we've got a good handle on this Ravens team this year, and all this extra stuff that's going on is going to cause us some distraction. So you can ignore, you know, what Nick has to say. He's clearly got a lot of, you know, unbiased analysis to offer, but I think the Steelers have got this nailed down. I want to say to Mike as well, I picked against the Steelers twice this year, right? So we're 10-0. So, you know, I'm happy to pick against the Steelers, right? If that's what my brain tells me is going to happen. And I think I did it in the Ravens in the first game, but I won't be doing it in this game, Pig.
Yeah, I'm guessing it was probably the Ravens and probably the Titans game that you may have probably against us. But
Do you know, I think you might be right. Yeah, I might have picked one of the trap games. I think it was the Bengals.
This is what the Steelers have been doing so well. They've been finding a way to get the win. It hasn't been pretty in some games, that they've worked out how to do it. And obviously, last game of the season last year, we had RG3 against us, and they horrible game. They pretty much beat us with their fucking second string roster out there. Which this was the horror of the Steelers season when the Jets beat us, and all of a sudden the wheels come off. All of a sudden the Steelers lost their heads. But this is a different Steelers team. Heinz Field, Big Ben fit, other players fit. As you were saying there, I don't know whether Mark Ingram and Joe K. Dobbins are going to be fit. I know at the minute they're off with COVID, but I don't know whether they've actually been classed as positive. So by the time it comes round, if they're negative, they could well be back. But I know that definitely Lamar's out. And as well, Calais Campbell, again, is on that list. I think there's 12 Ravens players. But the big thing now is there's 4 Steelers players that are on this COVID list now as well.
We're missing
It and Bug wrong. I can't remember the other 2 guys, but all of a sudden this could sort of work. We have a few players go down, the game goes ahead, all their players come back, and we're going, hold on a minute, what the hell has happened here? But
it's an impossible situation for the NFL a little bit. We feel a little bit hard done by with the Titans situation and losing that bye, and then now this. Yeah. But like you said, it was safety first. It sucks. It's a bad situation, but how do you solve it? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm hoping we're going to
is really strange because obviously the Niners were forced to play against the Packers with all those players out.
Yeah,
and they're not looking at postponing this. I know they've moved it, but they can't keep moving it just to get it. It's surely got to get to a point where they just cancel it and play it week. I don't know.
Yeah,
if too many players either side that have got the virus, why are the NFL, as I say, the NFL forced the Niners to play the Packers. And I'm not saying we would have won, and I'm not using it as an excuse. But if it's good for one person, why isn't it good for another? I mean, there's a lot of conspiracy theories around why the Niners were forced to play that, bearing in mind, obviously, they had Kaepernick at quarterback, and he was the one that started the kneeling and this, that, and the other. And Jed York was at the forefront in supporting it. And they're saying that's the reason why the NFL are always sticking it to the Niners because of that. But there's got to be a point where they say, right, this game can't be played now. We've got to reschedule stuff. Yeah, I agree, Mike. Money as well.
It is money. Well done, Nick, for doing what you always do. You turn another game into talk about the Niners like you do every time.
It's
ridiculous.
It's fact.
The Niners have to be involved in everything. But I don't know. I haven't finished my rant about the Steelers-Ravens game. Let me have my airtime.
You've already had up 45 minutes because I couldn't get on here, but that's another story. Go on.
Anyway, the worrying thing for me, Simon, in this game is that this for the Ravens is the potential end of their season. They've got to win it. For the Steelers, it's not a must-win game for the Steelers, and that is my only worry in this game. I just feel that the Ravens have got to chuck absolutely everything at this game, and the Steelers could be like, you know what? It doesn't matter if we lose this game, and that is the only thing. I'm not interested in going 16 and that'd be lovely, but if we lose this game, I don't care. I want to win it, but if we lose, I don't care. To the Ravens, it means everything, and that could be just the sort of deciding factor that means the Ravens just turn up and beat us. But I ain't choosing the Ravens.
I think against almost any other team, I'd agree with you, Pete. But I think this game means more to some of the players. You can tell there's no love lost between the Ravens and the Steelers, and that's been the case for a long time. There's like a bit of a begrudging respect there that isn't there for the Bengals, right?
Yeah.
But they always want to beat the Ravens. It doesn't matter if one team's 1-15 and the other's unbeaten. This is going to be a game that everyone's up for. So, I'm not too worried about them being a cornered team that needs to win. I think we're going to be in the same mindset. And Tomlin's got that drilled into them this year. We've seen that against some of the lesser teams that we've played. We haven't fallen foul to that.
For sure. And we hope Alex Highsmith, Sam Highsmith, and Big Ben are all eating turkey after the game. Right.
Yeah, and one's got hypno on his turkey leg, and we all know that is. John, Ravens, Steelers, choose.
I got the Steelers. Minka is going to be an X factor in that game. He'll have Lamar's number provided he plays. I take the Steelers.
Good man, John. You're welcome back anytime, bro.
Now I know he's broken like that. He's not coming back on again. Scott, who have you got?
Yeah, the Steelers. I mean, their gravy schedule. Just when you think it can't get any easier, now they don't have to play the Ravens with Lamar Jackson or J.K. Dobbins.
Oh, could it get any easier? Really?
It's impossible that their schedule gets easier. I mean, I keep looking at their schedule, expecting to see Eastern Kentucky University on there, Pete. Come on, man. St. Teresa's Girls Academy, week 17. I mean, give me a break, man.
They're playing some real tomato cans, that's for sure.
You got to pick the Steelers. I don't see any way the Ravens. I mean, they had them at home at full strength and couldn't get the job done. So they're going to go to Heinz Field without arguably their two best offensive players. I mean, I know Dobbins just started taking over recently, but he's the man. I don't know what took so long to get him the feature back role. But, yeah, Steelers, they, win another easy game, and they'll gloat about being 11-0, and we just have to see what happens next week. Maybe who's their opponent next week? Maybe a comet hits their stadium and they have to forfeit the game and can't play at this point. Who knows?
I might be wrong. I think it's Washington. I might be wrong.
It is Washington, yeah.
All of a sudden, Washington. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, the divisional leaders in the NFC East, and all of a sudden taking over the NFC, the massive Washington team, and all of a sudden they're going to be playing them when they're actually legit. How's that, Scott? All of a sudden, the Steelers' schedule's piss easy, and all of a sudden, Washington's 1-5, and now they're the best team in the NFC East.
I mean, being the best team in the NFC East doesn't.
That doesn't say much for your team.
No one gives a shit about that division.
Carl.
JJ Watt, Bud Dupree, Cam Hayward. I send my condolences to RG3 because he's going to get buried. This Steelers team is just too good right now. That defense is just elite, despite the paper thin schedule that they have. As I've already discussed with Pete, you can only beat what's put in front of you. Still a paper thin schedule.
I mean, the Ravens have the same schedule. I just want to say the Ravens have the same schedule, and they're 6-4. So.
Thank you very much. So has the Browns, and they've lost 3 games as well.
Well, they're playing a lot of cupcakes.
I think the Ravens played Tennessee earlier, so not exactly.
Simon made a very good point there. Did you just say the Browns are 7-3 right now?
No, that wasn't. That was Pete. But yeah, they are right.
That was 7-3. Fuck me, it must be 2020. I am taking the Steelers to win comfortably, and just to throw a little nugget in there, Alex Highsmith to get a pick 6.
Yes.
Get
in there, 56.
Dion, who have you got, man?
I have to roll with the Steelers in this one. It only makes sense. They have their full offense at their disposal. They'll be fine. I don't see any way the Ravens win this game without Lamar Jackson. If he doesn't play, they don't win. That's just basically how it works. RG3 is a sufficient backup, but he's not going to do anything that Lamar does. Okay, he's a shell of who he was. And, the Steelers, it's really easy. You got to think about it. You play the Ravens, and they're not at full strength. You beat them. And then you got to play the Washington football team, the team with no name, in the worst division ever in football. It's like, there's no way they lose this game or even the next one. It's too easy.
It's too easy. Man, you're not giving these teams a chance. It's not too easy. These are all professional football teams, man.
Let me tell you, there's nothing professional about the NFC. Nothing professional about the NFC. They're going to produce a playoff team with a sub 500 record. Mark my words. The only other team to do that, who was that, Mike? Was that the Rams at 7-9?
Oh no, the Seahawks. Seahawks 7-9.
Seahawks
That was the beast streak year that they beat the Saints.
Yeah, but no, there's no way. Yeah, the NFC East trash division, and all of their quarterbacks suck except for Dak Prescott, and he's hurt. He could probably go out there on one ankle and outplay everybody.
Yeah, for sure. You going with the Steelers, Dion? Yeah. Yeah, man. Mike, come on, make it a clean sweep.
Listen, man. I think RG3 is a better passer of the ball than Jackson is, and I think that if it weren't for Greg Roman, I would actually pick the Ravens to win this game. I think that Lamar Jackson holds that offense back from a passing perspective, in a pass game perspective. He's great at getting outside the pocket, and when play breaks down or if he can't see anybody, he runs. But we've seen Greg Roman do this time and time again. Niner fans are all but too familiar with this, and they're looking like the 2013-2014 49ers team where they were trending in the wrong direction. But it's still Greg Roman, so I'm gonna pick the Steelers. But I think this game is gonna be a lot closer than what people think. And like I said, if it was any other coordinator over there other than Greg Roman, I would actually be picking the Ravens in this game.
Yeah, Nick, I did forget that you hadn't had your pick yet, mate. So don't worry.
I've had my pick. I am picking the Ravens, which means.
I want to take advantage of the fact we got Simon on the show because John has posed a question to Simon, obviously. So do you reckon potential undefeated season is a distraction for the Steelers?
You know, I really don't think it is, John. The guys come out and said a lot of the right things, right? Ebron came out last week and said, listen, if we take a loss or two on the road, we aren't interested. We aren't bothered. They're not focused on a 60-0 season. I know this is a bit of a cliche, right? But they came out and said they don't even know their own stats. They're not focused on any of that stuff. I mean, I would be if I was an NFL receiver, right? I'd be pretty in on that. But they're saying all the right stuff. This is an unselfish team. Juju's not getting a lot of the work that he thought he would, and he's perfectly fine with it all. And he's in a contract year, right? So this team is gelled together in a way that I think is important when it comes to get going in the stretch. And I don't think the 60-0 season is even a kind of a goal. I mean, obviously you want to win every game, but I don't think they're looking at that as a distraction at all. I think this is fine. I will just say I agree totally with what Mike said. RG3 is a bit of a threat. I think Lamar Jackson has been a net negative against the Steelers in the games we've played, and RG3 I think might worry me a little bit more as a passer in the ball.
And I just want to respond to what you said about them saying that they don't know their own stats. Listen, that's all BS. Yeah. They know their record. A lot of these players have incentives. Trust me, they know their stats, but they're being trained right now because everyone's going to start asking them, have you guys thought about the undefeated season? Have you thought about the 72 Dolphins? They're already getting it. Don't pay attention to it. Don't feed into it. Focus on the game at hand. Don't overlook any of the opponents. You don't want them giving to the bulletin board material in their locker rooms and all that stuff. I swear to you, they're focused on it. I can promise you they are 100% focused on it. The Niners were asked the same questions last year when they started 8-0, right? And when they got into the locker room, we're not focused on that. We're not worried about it. And then after the first loss to Seattle, they go into the locker room and they say, man, this was a lot harder than we thought. We thought we had a chance of beating them and continuing the record, continuing the streak. So as soon as they lose, they'll say, we did care about it, but, on to the next one now. So they're just saying the right things. That's media training.
Yeah, it's what I was saying earlier on, that the guys and the whole team, they look like they're just one big team. But when you're winning, it's so different. You look at the Kansas City team, giving up money on their contracts to keep them all together. When you're winning, it's a different game. You see these guys celebrating, Juju blowing out the candle with the ball with Claypool. I mean, these things are great, but all of a sudden they start losing, the morale dips. It's not the same. So we need to sort of keep riding this train, keep winning. I want to see a few more tweets from Dave Hart, a few more Thomas the Tank Engine tweets. Just want him peaking early, getting in there early.
Anyway, that's enough Steelers talk because I'm starting to feel very nauseous.
Anyway, you're a mug for choosing the Ravens, mate.
Not at all. I'm always going to pick against the shitty Steelers because if
And by
anyone
the way, you owe me money.
Right, Dolphin. We're going to do a few cupcake games now. Dolphins, Jets. Anyone picking the Jets?
No, I mean, it's going to be interesting, obviously, with Tua out there, isn't it? Obviously, Fitzmagic's back. We're going to see some amazing shirts. I'm glad that Fitz is back. I love him. I'd like to see him as the backup QB at the Steelers, to be honest. But no, I'm not giving the Jets a fucking chance in hell. They want to tank for Trevor. The Jets ain't winning shit this year.
I'll just say this. Apparently, there's a report coming out. Sam Darnold may be fit to go this weekend. I think that is the worst mistake the Jets GM could possibly and actually do, and Adam Gase at that. You're going to try and go for Trevor Lawrence in the draft or Justin Fields, one of those two. Now you're going to put Sam Darnold back in there. Surely you would keep, if you would. I know you've got a dire of a team. Don't get me wrong. You're 0-11 for a reason. But if you really want that top draft pick, you do everything you can to fucking do to get there. And that is benching Sam Darnold for the rest of the season. What's the worst thing you could possibly do? He goes into this game against the Jets and he goes down with a torn ACL. Knock on wood, that doesn't happen. He goes down with a torn ACL. His trade value drops.
The other thing as well, they've got Adam Gase as the head coach, and they're fucked anyway. Doesn't matter.
Well, he's a hack. So
would be the QB. He's just. Well, I don't know how he.
Gase isn't going to be there next year anyway. What does he care? If they get the first overall pick, he's going to go.
He's not going to give a shit because he ain't going to be picking him. Okay, right. Another cupcake game. Well, one of the teams anyway. Cardinals versus the shitty Patriots.
Wow. The ultimate disrespect on that one.
Wow. The hoodie is in the tank. They could even be in the top 5 draft picks, which is hilarious.
Yes,
everyone in the NFL except Patriot fans, let's be honest. Dion, who are you picking in this one?
The Cardinals versus who?
Cardinals and the Pats.
Who?
Oh, wow. I have to take the Cards. It's a better team. They're better on defense. They're better on offense. They're better all around. He's a shell of himself. You'll find that man on the free agent market next year trying to figure out if somebody's going to sign him or not. And I think this will probably be the first time that this is the first time Bill Belichick's career after Tom Brady since Tom Brady basically that he's lost. Because remember, when Brady went down that full season and Matt Castle was the starter, Matt Castle took them to 11. So he's never had a losing season. And this is going to be his first one. Yeah, man. That's the Cardinals all day, every day. It's just too easy for them to be able to beat them. You're going to stop Kyler. Did you see what DeAndre Hopkins did? There was at least 4 to 5 Buffalo Bills around him. The man still caught the ball. That shouldn't have happened. That just tells me that the Buffalo Bills have bigger problems to worry about than anything. Because how do you let DeAndre Hopkins come down with that ball? Cardinals, easy.
No, that was a crazy pass. It was
spectacular catch, and he's an underrated receiver, one of the best receivers in the league. People don't talk about him enough. The man has amazing hands, and he is year in and year out. And he did that in Houston with a quarterback carousel. Didn't know who was throwing the ball.
He played basketball at college, didn't he? So that's during his time at college.
I think definitely him and Cam Newton are going for the craziest hairstyle of 2020 award. That way.
Cam's is worse. D-Hop's had his the whole time. Cam, I don't know what he's thinking, and I never know what he's wearing when he does his post game interview. Always be sure to see something. Cam Newton.
What the funny thing about that is, Dion, if you're his stylist or the person that supplies his, after game close, you're rubbing your hands together and just going, honestly, Cam, it's fantastic. Take it. Oh, 30 grand. Thank you very much.
Man,
he just goes on camera and everyone says, what the fuck is that?
I'm probably the only person here that probably looks at Cam Newton and actually quite enjoys some of his clothes. And at the end of the day, mate, if you can pull it off, you wear it. It's as simple as. And he,
Mate, I've seen some of your
Despite
shirts that you've worn, and you can't pull it off. So
exactly.
don't start another Cam Newton thing. I've seen your darts player shirts, mate.
Did you see what he wore to the Patriots facility when he first came in?
It looks like Dick Tracy.
He looked horrible. Like, I don't understand what you're wearing. You are too large of an individual to be wearing stuff like that. No.
He walks into every single press conference looking like Dick Tracy. So,
well, looking like a dick, that's for sure. Mike, I forgot what game.
I think I'm going to be on a limb here by myself. I'm going to take the Patriots to win this game. I think the Patriots on defense match up well against what the Cardinals' strengths are offensively.
Did you see what happened when we tried to play Deshaun Watson and defend him? Or lack of it.
Yeah, but that's because there's a lot more unknowns there. With the Cardinals, their offense is a little bit more defined, and if you give Belichick a scheme and a plan, he can defend that well. If you give him a bunch of unknowns, like Belichick will struggle against the Dolphins because who are the Dolphins throwing to? Is it going to be a run attack? Can be a passing? He'll struggle against a team like that. But with this team, it's DeAndre Hopkins and it's the quarterback, right? The run game is going to be the run game. That doesn't change for who it is. It's the outside zone, inside zone, or power, right? That's not a lot to prepare for. But it's in the pass game. Who are we taking away? And if you can take away DeAndre Hopkins, who's getting 12 targets a game, you can take him out and you can stop Kyler Murray and contain him. Belichick will do that well. He will focus on that. And I think that the Cardinals defense is susceptible to running quarterbacks. I think they use Cam Newton a little bit different this week. And I think it's a close one. I think it's a nail biter. But that Hail Mary doesn't work this week because Belichick will tell his guy, you bat that down. You don't even try to catch it. Get it away from the wide receiver. The problem was with that Hail Mary, you saw too many hands doing this and not enough hands doing this. And that's why it was successful last week.
We've probably got the league's best cornerback playing against him this week as well, and that could well make the difference.
What, J.C. Jackson? It's not Stephon Gilmore.
I'm sure Stephen Gilmore's going to be playing this week, right?
Carl,
hello.
Is it that cut and dry that you think the Patriots are going to win, or what's your thought?
This is a 50. I agree totally with Mike. This is a 50-50 game. There was a stat I actually worked out. We all said Cam Newton was. A lot of people I heard saying Cam Newton played crap last week. He threw over 350 yards and didn't turn. Threw over 300 yards and didn't turn the ball over. He completed over 70% of his passes on short and intermediate throws, and he was throwing it deep to Damiere Byrd. We have now got a motion going now in that on the way of the offense. Defensively, we were shit. Period. I think we'll get our act together. I think we will beat the Cards, but I think it's going to be by 7 or less.
So do we all have to look at your Twitter when you're going down in flames just to see some expletives when they're getting trashed?
Maybe, but I'll be watching Red Zone because I'm a fantasy guy, so it'll flip in between.
Oh, God, no, don't get started on fantasy. Pete will have a meltdown. Stop.
The Patriots are not good. They lost to the Texans. They got waxed by the 49ers. I mean, come on, man.
You can say that again. Say that again.
Scott, I'm going to get rid of Nick and just have me and you as a presenter because you're way much better than me.
He's actually coming round to our way of thinking, which is really good because you just bring him on and he's
definitely got British humour, hasn't he? For sure.
Mike.
Just really quick, why were the Niners successful against the Patriots? Because Belichick didn't know who to stop and plan for. It was a hodgepodge of players out there, and the scheme was just unknown at that time. He had no idea how to prepare to stop that team. That's why teams can beat Bill Belichick. If you don't give him anything to plan for, he doesn't know what to do. But I'm telling you guys, this Cardinals team, they're cut and dry. It's hard to stop, but if you know what to do, you can stop them. That's all.
The other thing as well, Mike, you say about that, of course, it could have been an audition for Jimmy G to go back and join Belichick, of course. So Belichick just thought, fuck it, I ain't going to do anything. Who knows? John, who you got?
I got the Cards. Got the Cards winning outright. Unless the only way you contain that edge, you stop Kyler Murray, they're going to beat you. They're going to beat you running the ball. They're going to beat you throwing the ball. Kyler Murray's going to scramble like a little squirrel that he is. He's going to get out there. You got it. The only way to stop the Cards is to stop Kyler Murray. That's really it. Force them to run the ball. If you stop the run, stop the Cards. Bill Belichick he's not showing much promise without his guy, you know, and this is what we all waited for, right? I mean, for years we said, you know, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and now as a football fan, you see that without one, the other is no good, and it goes both ways. Look at Tom versus the Rams. The Rams decimated them, and because of it, that defense blanketed that secondary. Or I'm sorry, that secondary blanketed those receivers, and that's why I fear that, you know, we're going to run into problems with the Rams. But Bill Belichick seems like, you know, like Mike said, he's been figured out. If he can't figure you out, it's not nothing for you.
John, you hit the nail on something there. You said that obviously Brady and Belichick now on opposite ends. Now it feels like now Belichick misses Brady in those 2-minute drills at the end of the second, the end of the fourth quarter. When you need to win the game, when the game's on the line, you need your quarterback. That's who he lacks. And with Brady, on the other hand, he doesn't have the coach to game plan in those 2-minute drills. Bruce Arians is telling Brady, throw it downfield. And that's not Brady's cup of tea.
No.
He throws it in between the numbers. We have to go back, sorry to bring this up again, Scott, to the AFC Championship against the Chiefs. What happened in overtime? Third and 10 to Edelman. 3rd and 10, Edelman. 3rd and 10, Gronkowski. That's how you move the chains for Brady. If you keep trying to lob it down the field, it's just not going to work.
I agree.
So they are both suffering at this moment in time.
Without a doubt. Tom Brady makes everything happen down the middle of the field, and it's to be, you know, when the Patriots came back in the Super Bowl against Atlanta, everything they did resulted down the center, right down the middle of the field, right over the logo. Caught Edelman every single time. I think that's why Tom Brady was most successful. Short intermediate routes. They extended downs, and that was it. Bill Belichick's the only other guy in the game that could dominate time of possession. I believe that's where Kyle Shanahan is the most prominent. He extends downs and he dominates time of possession. Cards are going to beat them, and I don't think that the Patriots are going to look on to Cam for a future in New England.
I can't see Cam. Just want to say thanks, Mike, for coming on. He's had to go and do family stuff. We appreciate you coming on. Do you think, just as a side note about the Tom Brady thing, do you think he's suffering because he's actually got all these weapons that he's never had, and the way that BA wants him to love it down the field? Do you think that he's actually suffering from the fact that for once, and you can compare it to like Philip Rivers now as well. He's the first time in his for I don't know how many years he's got an offensive line which he can now make those throws. Do you think Brady is actually suffering because he's got all these weapons? It's not his game, as you say, to go downfield at his age.
It's not the weapons, mate. It's the scheme, Nick. It's not the weapons.
It is the scheme. It's something to do with the weapons. I think Brady is loving. He's got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown and Rob Gronkowski and Cameron Brate, and he's got 2 good running backs in Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette to throw the ball to. I think he's absolutely loving it. But the planning and the scheming of the things he is just not comfortable with.
Well,
and I think that's the chink in the arm of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I said they will not win the division because I think they will just be a little bit too inconsistent, and the Saints
Yeah.
just pick them to it.
He's not exactly doing bad for a guy that was in the same scheme for 20 years.
He's not doing
a new team of big players. He's not doing too bad. You've got to give him some credit.
Sometimes, though, his deficiencies show up.
He is the goat, Nick, to be fair. He is the goat, Nick. So, I mean, what are you going to say about that?
Yeah, there's only one goat, number 16, San Francisco.
Yes.
There it is. Yeah, Brady ain't no goat. Brady ain't no goat.
Brady being the goat once more.
I'm interested where I'm interested.
And he retired a long time ago.
I'm interested in where Simon's shout on this game.
Yeah, Brady's the goat. So pipe down. Simon, go ahead.
Can I just also say regarding the Bruce Arians, the quarterbacks that he's had over the years, in their first year when he's coached them, they've beaten their record of interceptions. Peyton Manning, Big Ben Roethlisberger, Andrew Luck, Carson Palmer, Jameis Winston. All 5 of them have gone over their interception record when Bruce Arians is their coach.
Yes. I mean, I see inconsistencies in all of this. I see Bruce Arians trying to utilize a quarterback to showcase all of his weapons on offense, and I believe that it's not working in that regard. He's trying to take the strengths of Tom Brady and his success in New England, and he's trying to utilize that success in his own schemes. His running backs don't have the talent to be gadget players. They don't catch the ball in open field. Leonard Fournette couldn't catch a small dish off to the side for a screen or even just as a valve player. It's not working in Tampa the way they anticipated. Tampa, Bruce Arians thought, I got Tom Brady. I've got 5 weapons across the board. I'm going to open these sets. I'm going to send these guys out, and I'm going to let the great GOAT throw the ball long, and he's going to hit every one of my weapons. They haven't been able to make a successful utilization of those weapons yet. It's either Mike Evans or it's they keep going to Antonio Brown, and it's just not there. So you see, I believe Bruce Arians.
Name on here, John. You can't mention that name on this show.
Yeah, mention AB. You can mention any ex-Steeler player that they've gone to.
You can't say Antonio Brown. You can't say Leonard Fournette. They're the 2 players you're not allowed to say on this show.
What about James Harrison?
Oh yeah, you can bring Harrison into the show. That's fine.
Anyway, Simon, back to you. I know you've been sitting there patiently listening, but go for it.
Brady and Bill are so interconnected. I forgot which game we're talking about. We're talking about the Bucks, Kansas, or we're talking about the Patriots.
Yeah, sorry, we've gone back a few years. Patriots.
Patriots Cardinals. Sorry, it turned into Pats chat.
I think people are celebrating the demise of Belichick a little bit prematurely. I think what you got to remember is that we focus so much on the quarterback and we focus so much on Brady to Cam and this transition that you forget that the Patriots have, arguably the second worst roster as a whole in the NFL. This is not a team with great depth or a team with great talent. And they've relied on this Brady-Bill connection for a long time, right? And I agree with a lot of what Carl said about Cam and that connection with Bill maybe not quite working, especially when it comes to late game situations. But listen, Bill, with a pretty poor roster and a quarterback who hasn't played, professional football at a certain level for a couple of years, is 1 win under 500, right? I look at them in a similar place to where we were last year, Pete, where what scares me is I want Bill to go and get another couple of wins because I don't want him in a position where he can either, take a Fields or a guy like that in the draft or, maybe
I'll stop you there. We won't get Fields or Laws with the pick we've got. We are more than likely could get Zach Wilson.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm not at that stage of my process yet. I'll wait till after the Super Bowl to dive into this. I know Brock Purdy is on Gav's radar on our show, so
I'm glad you said that because I actually stayed up and watched Purdy play last night's game. That was he played pretty decent actually, really good. But
I don't know. What I'm saying is, I want Bill to maybe not have the resources to move up and get whichever quarterback he lays his eyes on and thinks can do the job that Brady used to do for him, because I think Bill is doing a perfectly fine job. I think people are quick to write him off. And I agree with what you said as well. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think the Cards are a team that you can stop, you know, when you've got the talents that Bill Belichick has. And I think all he's going to do is focus solely on Kyler Murray. I think he's going to try and make them beat him with the passing game deep, and I think the running game is going to be struggling on Sunday. So yeah, I'm going to pick the Cards, but I think it's going to be very tight, and I think we're going to see a good coaching effort out of Bill.
Pete,
I feel if there is ever a coach that knows how to work out and, you know, make sure that someone like Kyler Murray doesn't do what he does best, it's going to be Belichick. I still aren't sure every week which Patriots team we're going to see. I think we kind of know what we're getting when we see the Cardinals. And I just feel that the fact that it's outside, possibly in a really cold, crappy... I mean, you saw that weather the other day against the Ravens. There's no fucking way Kyler Murray plays the sort of ball he plays if the weather's like that.
When it gets colder, you run the ball more.
Yeah, but I just, you know, as much as I think, and obviously I think Stephen Gilmore completely takes Nuke out of the game. And as much as I wanted to choose the Patriots this week after Tweetgate and Carl calling out our girl Rachel Stanton this week, I promised myself, although we're all friends now, I promised I wouldn't bet on the Pats, so I'm going with the fucking Cardinals.
Yeah, we don't mention Tweetgate because Carl.
No, don't mention Tweetgate. Don't mention Tweetgate.
He got a little bit hairy there this week, but after Tweetgate, I said I wouldn't choose the Pats. So I'm going.
I'm going.
I accept your reasoning. Okay.
I'm going to pick the Cardinals. I don't care if it's -20. Kyler Murray gets it done. I just don't think that the Pats will work it out. No one's shutting D-Hop down. I don't care. Stephen Gilmore, he's not as good as he was last year. I know I've got a lot of players missing, obviously, but we're into week 13 or whatever it is now in the NFL. So that. Oh, Simon's got to put 2p in the meter. His light went out.
You know, where I sit is such a horrible place. I do my podcast audio only, right? So I have literally no lighting. So I'm using my iPhone torch as like an ability to see my face.
I thought you'd had a moment of inspiration or something. Out the dark. I'm going. It doesn't bother me. Gilmore isn't stopping D-Hop. I don't think anyone stops D-Hop. So.
Bearing in mind, Larry Fitzgerald is out for this game.
Yeah, but Fitz is not Fitz. I know he is in the red zone, but he's kind of like a lot of his catches is because he's the forgotten man of the team, and I'm sure there are other players that can fill in for that. Right, another couple of cupcake games.
Nick, before you move on, Nick, obviously I appreciate we're almost getting to the second hour. I'm going to have to ditch very soon, and I don't know how everyone else is doing for time, but has everyone got a few more minutes to just do a quick sort of round the horn, or are we all running short for time? Because I don't want to keep everybody. If people need to get away, I understand.
I'm good.
I'm good, man. I'm here.
We all good?
I'm good. See you later, Pete.
Well, no, I'm all right for a minute. I've got another 20 minutes. I just want to make sure I want to watch Everton beat Leeds. That's all. But
I'm going to watch that as well, Pete. So I'm with you.
Well, let's have a quick. Nick, you've got the game there, mate. We'll have a quick sort of breakdown.
Panthers Vikings. Pete, who are you going for? One word.
Panthers Vikings. Panthers Vikings. I don't think I'm not sure McCaffrey's fit this week again. Even though they absolutely smashed the Detroit Lions and shut them out, still think the Vikings are going to be strong enough on this one. I'll go Vikings.
John?
I got Vikings.
Scott?
Yeah, I'm going to take Vikings and Dalvin Cook, and that all. I just think they have too much for the Panthers.
You could probably just say Dalvin Cook versus the Panthers. I think in this one. Simon?
Yeah, Vikings in a squeaker, low scorer.
Carl?
Dalvin Cook to run $150 on that defense. I'm taking the Vikings.
Dion?
Dalvin Cook and the Vikings because it damn sure ain't gonna be Kirk Cousins with his trash self.
Everyone still wants him to be the key, or most people still think he could work for Shanahan, but I'm not buying that. He can stay where he is, and I am definitely, unfortunately, picking Dalvin Cook because, as I say, I can't say Kirk Cousins, but yeah, Dalvin Cook. Another cupcake game. Jaguars, Browns. Browns flattering to deceive. Mayfield not doing much, but somehow they're squeaking the win. Dion, who you got? Browns, Jags.
Browns, easy. I'll take Baker Mayfield any day over Gardner Minshew or whoever they're starting in Jacksonville. That franchise has been unfortunately.
John Luton, Jake, I don't know.
No, he's not playing anymore, is he?
I think we're seeing Glennon this week, aren't we?
Mike Glennon, yeah. I don't really think.
Everyone going round the horn.
Oh wow!
I don't
He just
understand.
gets better.
Anybody taking the Jags?
No.
That would be T.
As much as me and Si probably want to take the Jags, it pains us that we're probably both on the dog pound this week.
Yeah.
I mean, God, things have got to be bad if you're putting Mike Glennon in a QB. Holy shit.
But I don't
I mean,
understand that. Why I don't understand that. As far as I know, Minshew's fit, and obviously you've got Jake.
No, he's not.
who's potential there. Why play Glennon? I don't
It's,
understand.
it's pretty
He's
obvious
doubtful,
the
mate.
Jaguars are tanking.
Still dealing
Yeah.
with his throwing thumb. So
Can I just say something? Can I just say something? There was a meme that went out for Mike Glennon. I'll just say this. Mike Glennon got benched in 2017 for Chicago's Mitchell Trubisky, who got benched this year for Nick Foles, who got benched last year for Gardner Minshew, who got replaced by Luton, who is now being benched in favor of Glennon. All comes right round full circle all of a
Like
sudden.
swilling the bottom of that beer can that you don't want to drink.
yeah, I mean, everyone sort of moans about their QBs and Jesus Christ, we got this. You know, who are we going to do this? But Mike Glennon, holy shit!
I had the pleasantries of doing a podcast with Believe in the Jags this week, and one of their questions to me was, "What player would the Steelers like to have from the Jags roster?" And I picked. We needed a backup QB, and that gave them a slap right round the face when I said that we didn't need starters, but we'll have one of their players as a backup.
If I'd have been on there and they'd have asked me, I said I wouldn't have taken the player. I'd take the chick that comes on and gives the water bottles out when there's a timeout. That's the only thing they probably got going for them on that
That's after the Believe in the Jags podcast and James and Phil, by the way.
Yeah,
I might take DJ Chark. That's a bit harsh.
We're wide receiver heavy. We don't need another one.
I'll take another one.
Titans, Colts, Pete.
Oh, this is a risky one. This is an absolute coin flip, and I know the Colts beat the Titans last time round, but I just think the Titans keep this one close, and Henry turns up in the fourth quarter and absolutely turns into beast mode, and the Titans win this by 1 point.
Interesting. Simon.
Do you know, I have my picks that I made earlier in the week to make sure I'm consistent, and now I'm looking at it, I'm like, no, I don't like it. I'm going Colts. The Titans are a team that I just don't know what to think of them. They came on so strong at the start of the season. People thought they were going to compete with the Steelers, the last unbeaten team. I don't know. Derrick Henry is, of course, a beast, right? And this team just feels very... You could get one of two teams every week. I don't know. The Colts, for me, I like what Rivers is doing. He's improving. They're starting to get that run game going a little bit. I think Taylor's maybe been written off a little bit early, and I like Naeem Hines. I don't know. I'm going to go Colts, but it is a toss-up, man. This is going to be a close game.
Carl.
Close game. I'm taking the Colts. The Colts still have the number one overall defense in the NFL. But yeah, I agree with what Simon said regarding on the running game. I think they will throw Taylor in and Hines as well and make it different as well. But they've come off a humongous win against the Green Bay Packers as well. So they are going to be well and truly up for this. If they beat the Titans, they win that. They sweep them. They win the tiebreaker. Mm-hmm. So I am taking the Colts in this one.
Yeah, big game.
Scott.
Yeah, I mean, I just keep waiting for Phillip Rivers to turn into Phillip Rivers, and I'm maybe it's this week, maybe it's next week. I don't know. It should be a close game. You could break it down either way for either team. To pick them to win. I'll lean the Titans. But yeah, I think it'll be close.
John.
Close game for sure. I don't think Derrick Henry is going to be able to get through that interior. They got a great run block game. I think it's a close game. I'm going to take the Colts over the Titans this one, 27-21.
Dion?
For me, I'm gonna have to go ahead and go with the Colts. Yeah, I think that's the issue. Everybody looks at the Tennessee Titans and they look at them as a juggernaut. Remember, the Tennessee Titans are just Derrick Henry. If you have no Derrick Henry, you have no Tennessee Titans. I like Ryan Tannehill, but Tannehill ain't that great. They've got him doing intermediate, easy stuff, but most of that is Derrick Henry, and we know that. Look at what happened to Josh Norman. Man just got bullied on national television. He'll never be a poster. But the Titans don't have enough to be able to compete, and I think the Colts are just better on defense. So I'm going to take the Colts.
Definitely, when you look at the Titans, they kind of, as someone said, they started off like a train on fire. And now all of a sudden they're starting to just slowly become what the Titans were, the Titans, let's be honest. Derrick Henry doesn't do well. Titans don't do well. They haven't shown up in a lot of games. And this is for the division. And, you know, I like what the Colts are doing on defense. I like Philip Rivers is doing. Their run game, as you say, starting to get going. This is the game I'm quite looking forward to this weekend. I must admit, this might be the game I'll watch at 6 p.m. over here for the first slate of games before I watch the Niners. I'm definitely taking the Colts. I like the Colts in this one.
Nice.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of offensive linemen that are questionable for the Colts, which might make a big difference if they're playing or not. So,
huge difference.
Yeah.
Huge difference.
Right, another cupcake game, and I don't even. We're just going to go one word on this. Giants Bungles. Pete.
I don't even know who's playing QB. So I'm definitely going.
Oh, shit. Oh.
I couldn't even tell you their backup one because unfortunately, and again, how many times, guys, we've been on regularly, Scott, Carl, have we said Joe Burrow
is going to die? He is going to die behind that offensive line.
Yeah. Behind that line, he's going to get killed, and that injury looked fucking horrendous.
That injury is the same injury that Carson Wentz sustained in 2017: torn ACL, torn MCL, and damage and tissue damage.
And you know you don't like to see it. In another way, it's kind of like, will he ever come back?
It's like Carson Palmer. It was like the Carson Palmer incident.
Why do you put your prized asset, if you're on a losing season, which they are, 2-7-1, they're not going to win anything. Why not let him sit? Or, you know, they could have ended his career last year, to be fair.
Because
that was horrendous. And I feel so sorry for the kid because when he was in there, making some amazing throws.
You want a legitimate reason why? It's the Bungles. Everything they touch turns to shit.
This is what bad teams do. This is what bad franchises do. Right? How many times do we have to tell them? You build a team from the inside out.
Inside out, yeah.
You make a team and then you draft your QB. But these teams, these bad teams, the Browns are the classic example, right? Go and find the song where it lists every Browns QB since 1999. All they do is go out, they pick the shiniest new toy in the draft, and then they destroy them instantly because they have nothing to protect them, and they never go out there to find anything to.
Well, I think Matt Bell destroyed himself. I don't think it was the Browns that destroyed him. I think he was a fucking train wreck.
Yeah, there's a few guys who destroyed themselves in there, yeah.
I think the Giants are actually punching above their weight because they could be as bad as the Jets. And we've seen a lot of improvement on that defense. Martinez is doing really, really well. I think they would have won even with Joe Burrow in there, if I'm honest. And I'm going for the Giants. Simon?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think it would have been a much closer game with Burrow in, but The Bengals, not only do they not have Burrow, they're defeated as an organization now. They have nothing left. The Giants are playing for something now.
Yeah, exactly.
The equivalent of the toilet division. That's basically. Yeah, I'm picking the Derp over the Bungles.
I think no one can pick the Bungles, surely. Scott.
Giants.
John.
I got the Giants, and I think Daniel Jones gets to run this one back without tripping and falling on his face.
He needs to, because I don't think. I mean, that has got to be up there with the butt fumble, right?
It just needed a cartoon sound effect, and it'll be perfect.
Right, I agree with that. With Carl.
Dion and I talked about this. Daniel Jones is fast. That dude ran. What did he say? Almost 22.
Daniel Jones ran, I think, about 21.12 miles per hour. He is fast.
Stupid fast.
He had a good 40-yard dash. He had a good 40-yard dash at the combine.
What I was telling people, what I was telling John when we did the show was I used to run track, and one of the things is your arms and your legs have unison. If either is out of sync and or mentally, literally up here, you don't know you're moving that fast, you'll trip. I have seen it firsthand. And the thing is, on a football field with a bunch of pads on, it doesn't look so bad. You know why? Because you trip. On a track, you skin everything on your body. So, like, that's what he did. He basically, he didn't realize his body was moving that fast. And he was like, what? Why am I moving?
Even his own players on the sideline the last night. That's how.
You have to. Yeah. You have to. There's no. If I was on that team, I'd have been dying and I'd have clowned him for it. I wouldn't let him live it down. No, you have to.
You've got to give it to him. He didn't. I think he ran a touchdown in last week, didn't he? It wasn't.
He did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it was a good one as well.
The commentators were holding their breath. I expect the whole holding their breath, thinking, "For fuck's sake, don't!"
Definitely.
And he got it in. But Dion, who are you? Giants.
Giants. Yeah, there's no way that the Bengals win this game. It's the saddest thing is, I watched the Bengals all year. Joe Burrow was giving them hope. He really was, and he was fighting every single game. He was doing everything he could. The defense kept letting him down. That offensive line is trash. And it's like, when you're in Cincinnati, you can't win for losing. Like, as a player, when you get drafted, there are certain places you don't want to go because these franchises are trash. You don't want to go to the Jets. You don't want to go to Cincinnati. Cleveland seems to somehow find a way to look good and then fail in the end. There's places where you're like, I don't want to go there. Look at what Bo Jackson did. Bo Jackson, I think he got drafted by the Bucks, if I'm not mistaken. And he didn't want to play for them, so he went and played baseball for a year, came back and played for the Raiders. So it's like, at the end of the day, some of these guys are just, it's not working out, man. But that's you got to understand.
Bad thinking you're going to go number one overall, and you look at the team, and it's going to be the Jets, and you'll be like, a lot of people have said a few of these guys should stay in college for another year if they can, because no one wants to get drafted by the Jets. I don't care who you are or how much.
Trevor Lawrence gonna stay. Gonna stay. He's looking at that. Now, I ain't going to that franchise. That horrible GM.
He doesn't want to play for him off the record, and he'd rather stay in college a year. And that's bad because, we do want the best players in the NFL, but fuck it, I wouldn't go at the Jets either. I just wouldn't.
But you sacrifice the season if you get injured, regardless of who takes you. Your future, you're going there to make the money. If you get hurt, staying behind one more year, you jeopardize everything moving forward, regardless of who it is that takes you.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why I believe he'll still consider, the NFL.
He should pull an Eli. That's his best hope.
Pry your way out of your team. That's what he did. He I don't want to play for the Chargers. But
It
I'm
worked
listening
for
to
him,
my
mate, didn't it?
quarterbacks. Here, you take Phillips, you take Eli. Everybody's fine. Hey, but he got your rings out of it. Get me out of that.
There you go. He's probably going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, which is quite scary to think that Eli Manning, bearing in mind how trashy he was down the stretch, that he's going to be it. But he's got his rings, as you say. And
Yeah, that catch that David Tyree caught, he didn't even know where he was throwing the ball. He just chucked it.
He just chucked it. Yeah, yeah, he just chucked it.
The best quarterback in that draft went third anyway, so it's fine.
Another good one, quick one.
Yeah.
Chargers, Bills. Pete.
Yeah, I mean, Bills was always the game that I wasn't looking forward to later on in the season for the Steelers. I still think the Bills look pretty good. As much as Justin Herbert played well with his new haircut last week, I still don't think he's got enough around him to beat the Bills. I'm taking the Bills.
Yeah, I mean, he did. He actually looked like you. His hair looked like you when you go out, a reject from the world's shittest boy.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Thank
God, he's not wrong either, to be fair. He's not wrong.
Simon.
As I'm sure Pete knows if he listens to our show, I don't love the Bills as much as everyone does. I'm kind of trying to die on this hill a little bit because I wasn't in on Josh Allen early and I refused to jump on the ship. I think they've got enough to take the Chargers just find ways to lose games, dude. Like, the Chargers cannot hold. I don't know if it's a coaching issue. I don't know if it's Anthony Lynn or I think Herbert's fantastic and I think they've got a bright future there, but they'll find a way to lose this game. The Bills are good enough to find a way to win, but I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender.
As long as Dean Spanos is in charge, the Chargers are going nowhere, despite the fact of Justin Herbert. Oh, fuck's sake! I don't want to pick the Bills in this, but I'm just going to have to. As Simon said, the Chargers just find ways to piss away leads. I mean, how many they've done? Like 4 or 5 games where they've had over.
Unfortunately,
Over like 10 leads and they've completely and utterly fucked it away. No, I have to go to the Bills reluctantly, but yeah, I have to go for the Bills.
Scott, sitting there in your salute to service raffle prize, what do you think?
You know what? I kind of like the Chargers in this game. Actually,
wow.
The Bills just don't show up when it matters most, and this is a big game in the AFC, man. Like, the Chargers get Eckler back. I mean, Justin Herbert has looked good. I don't know why. Like I said, I know the Chargers. I know they choke, and I know they lose games that they should win, and they lose all the games they should lose. But I'm going to go with the Chargers this week against the Bills. I don't see it in the Bills. I really don't.
Interesting. I think you better start warming up your lone wolf voice there, Scott, somehow. John, who you got?
Where's the game?
Buffalo.
It is in Buffalo.
Orchard Park.
Out here on the East Coast, we're anticipating a storm. So Buffalo is the only team that can play in Buffalo. You bring a team from the West Coast into a blizzard over here. I don't know. I don't know. I'll take Buffalo. It's cold over here.
Dion.
Getting cold.
Dion, what's your call?
I have to go with the Bills. I'm surprised that Carl chose the Bills strictly because he's a Patriots fan, and I know that was a very hard thing for you to do. So
I did put in brackets reluctantly.
Yeah, very, very. That's hard. But the thing is, I got a really good friend of mine, man. I've known this dude since 7th grade. He's a diehard Chargers fan. But the unfortunate thing is that they don't. There's nothing that you can do with a team that just keeps losing leads. Carl said it best. They piss off leads on a constant basis. It's just unfortunate. But the one thing that I do have to say is, man, Justin Herbert, grow your hair back, brother. I don't know what I'm telling you right now. When I saw that picture, I saw something that I was like, all right, I'm not going to say this. This is going to be taken the wrong way. But it just, bro, I mean, he looked like the kid from A Christmas Story. You're going to shoot your eye out. Oh my god, man, he looks like a 17-year-old, and
He really does.
He looks like me. He looks like me. He looks like me when I've had a shave.
And like I was just like, man, I looked and I was like, wait, is that Justin Bieber? And he's still got the acne and everything. You ain't outgrown that yet. I mean, puberty should have hit by now.
You've seen his girlfriend, dude. Woo.
Yeah, she'll be looking elsewhere.
I'm going to go also. Unfortunately, I am going to have to pick the Bills. So, Scott, in your lazy boy. There you go. We love it. Right.
One more. Pick a good one. And I suppose with Scott being here, you best be picking the Chiefs versus the Bucks, I would imagine.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go Chiefs, Bucks. Chiefs for me.
Simon?
Yeah, totally agree. But kind of like the Titans, the Bucks are another weird one where we spoke a lot about them already, so we won't do it too much. But I'm kind of unsure what to expect. But it's a good defense going up against that Chiefs offense. It's going to be a fun game.
Yeah, will we? Carl?
Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs in this one.
Yeah, for the Chiefs. Dion?
I'm going for the Bucks. I want the Chiefs to win a damn thing. I want Tom to go in there and smack Patrick Mahomes in the face and let him know this is my house. You're not about to sit up here and punk me. I'm the GOAT. You're just a baby. You got a little Super Bowl. Ha ha. I got 5 more. You got 5 more to go. No, smack him in the face, Tom. Beat him. Get back out there, redeem yourself after that horrible game you had.
Stop.
Good man. John, what's your call on this one?
I second that, Dion. Every word of it. Every word of it. I can't say enough. I second that. That's it.
Scott, what's your team doing this week?
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Oh, sorry. This is the week Patrick Mahomes drops Tom Brady off at the old folks' home. It's been a nice career, Tom, but just enjoy your retirement down there in Florida with Gronk. I mean, Tampa Bay, man, they lost to the Bears. They've lost to the Rams. I mean, they are not that good. The one thing that I will say that does worry me a little bit is the last few weeks against the Raiders and also against the Panthers, the Chiefs' defense has looked like they've got some cracks. Like there's the other team, they can get open downfield and they can run the ball a little bit. But I think they right the ship. I don't think Tom Brady is what he used to be. When you watch Tom Brady try to throw the ball deep, he has to throw it 50 yards up into the air just to get it downfield. And then the defensive backs, it's like catching a punt on these interceptions. I think he's washed. I think he's done. Like I said, Chiefs are the better team. They need to keep pace with the Steelers and the AFC. So I expect them to get it done fairly comfortably.
And Scott,
Tampa Bay.
Scott, the important question: Does Brady shake Mahomes' hand when he wins?
Well, I know. It just depends if he loses the game, forgetting what down it was, throwing one of the worst interceptions you've ever seen in your life, or is it a close game? It just depends. But yeah, I think it's time for the bocce ball and arts and crafts for Tom and Gronk down in Florida.
Oh man,
fair play. I mean, I think from what we've seen, the Bucks and Brady know how to come back after a beatdown, and I just still think it's a little bit too early for Brady to just hand Mahomes, here you go, this is your NFL for the next 10, 20 years. This is Kansas. It's their one and only trip down to Tampa this year, Scott, I'm afraid, and I do feel that Tampa get the win against KC. They're going to keep it close because I do feel that Mahomes is now the new 2-minute man taking over from Brady. But I just hope that Tampa can just get a big enough lead and don't give the ball back to Mahomes with 1 minute 30, 2 minutes left because the guy will kill you.
I was about to say, Pete, haven't you learned your lesson about picking against the Chiefs last week?
Scott, you've stolen my thunder totally because I know Pete's Missus has just come home and he's got to shoot off. But, Scott, can you just give us a little recap of what Pete said the Raiders were going to do to KC last week?
Well, they didn't exactly blow. Did they blow them out? I mean, I'm pretty sure they did. I'm pretty sure the Raiders went toe to toe with them.
It was a high-scoring game, anyway.
Pretty sure the Raiders went toe to toe with them. And I think the Raiders have got their number. If the Raiders and KC meet in the playoffs, I get the feeling that the Raiders will probably come through and beat them again. But
Well, first of all, the Raiders played the best game they could play at home and still lost. And on top of that, Derek Carr is 0-10 when he plays in games below 50 degrees. Bring him to Arrowhead in January when it's 32 degrees outside. I'm not worried about the Raiders.
sorry, Scott. This is your one and only trip down to Tampa. You're not going back there in February.
Look, you're upsetting John's dog, Pete, talking. He's going off on you. I think you better go before John's dog tries to jump through the camera and maul you.
Probably for the best. Well, anyway, thank you very much for Sam Highsmith coming on the show. I know Mike's gone. Thanks for Mike for joining us. Dion, pleasure to meet you. Great to have you on the show. Don't be a stranger. You're always welcome. John, I know you're a great believer and you watch the show. You're always commenting. I really appreciate and I really dig the crucial catch gear that you're wearing today, man. So big respect for that. Carl, thank you very much for coming on today. It's always a pleasure having you on.
No worries.
Scott, enjoy that lazy boy. It looks like you're, as per usual, sitting there like a cocky Kansas City fan with a cigar and enjoying your life. So you keep doing that. Simon, thanks very much for coming on. I'm sure you probably enjoyed seeing Sam as much as I did. Keep doing what you do best. I love your podcast. Say hello to the guys for me, and maybe I can make a little cameo appearance on your show one day.
Yeah, sure thing. We'll do it soon. Off season, maybe.
That'd be cool. Nick, any last requests? Any last things you want to say, mate?
Well, I'm quite happy to carry on and just do the last 5 games if you guys are okay with that. And obviously, Pete's got to shoot off. It's up to you guys. If you want to stay for another 10 minutes, it's fine.
Yeah, it's cool. Fine with me.
Everyone's in agreement. Just let Pete shoot off, and we'll just pick these last games.
For you guys over
Hey man, appreciate you having me on. That's very you're a cool dude, man. Love it. I like people from across the pond, man. I love you guys from the UK. You guys are hilarious. I like your banter is the shit. Like when you guys go at each other, bro. Like you have no idea how much I appreciate it because it makes me laugh. Like I'm weak, man. Because you guys have different lingo. That shit is dope.
Scott's learning it well. Apparently, Scott keeps going around calling all his people and all his friends mate as well. He's picking up the British lingo. So
he's getting there. He's getting there.
he's definitely, Scott is definitely becoming more British by the week that he's on here. Pete, I'll see you on Monday, man. And
he would. I knew he was going to. As a Steelers fan, he had to do it.
Yeah, and he even knocked himself. Oh, that's how you see the world in that stupid thing round his head. Pete.
Make sure he uses it. Make sure he uses it. Make sure he uses it when he's run out of bog roll next time.
Well, no, the thing is, you see, his wife's going to put his penny on and start cooking, so he can stand. So
I'm going to vote as well, fellas. I'll speak to you. I'll speak to you soon.
All right, Simon. Take care, brother. Thank you.
Bye, Simon.
Bye.
Right, last couple of games. Raiders, Falcons, Carl.
Raiders had probably their best loss of the season last week, and the Falcons, well, they just look horrendous against the Saints. So I am taking the Raiders.
Carl, be careful who you upset on the Falcons. We all know about that.
I am making a prediction.
Scott, who you got?
I mean, are we getting Tweetgate 2 started here or what, Carl? Is that what's going on?
No.
I'll never pick the Raiders. I'm going to pick the Falcons.
Dion?
Yeah, as a Bay Area, I'm not a Bay Area native, but as a 49er fan, there's no way I pick the Raiders. I have to go with the Falcons.
Exactly. John?
I agree. Got to go with the Falcons.
No way.
I got to go with the Falcons.
Any 49 fan
We are not keen of Raider fans. We are the Battle of the Bay champs. We do not cater to Raider fans. Can't do it.
As I said last week, I don't give a shit where the Raiders play. They're always going to be in the Bay, from the Bay. Fuck them. They're going to lose.
Yeah, look, and the thing about Raiders fans is, here's a quick thing. Cowboys fans, they're just annoying because they always think they're going to win every year. Some reason, some way, somehow, they swear up and down, we're going to the Super Bowl. No, you're not.
This is the year.
You're going right back to the Cowboys. This is the year, man. We're going to get it, yeah. No, as long as Jerry Jones, as long as
Cowboy,
Jerry
right, Nick, you will agree with me on this. Cowboys fans are probably the equivalent to Liverpool fans because they always say the same narrative every single time. It's our fucking year, mate. It's our year. And that's exactly what Cowboys fans do. It's our year. We're going to do it this year. Get the
never. And then Raiders fans, they stopped our games because it literally got violent. Like,
Even
and I'm talking about real violence here, people. Like, I've heard a couple people get stabbed at those games. Like,
in the bathroom.
United fans do not like each other at all. And the thing about Raiders fans, the thing about us is they talk about us, they talk crap. But the thing about Raiders fans is they're the ones who incite the violence. We're a peaceful franchise, but at the same time, don't let the fact is we from San Francisco fool you. It gets active. That's just how we work. But that is we can never pick the Raiders. That's just it's not possible.
Can't do it.
You know, and the other thing too, Vegas is way too dope of a city to have the Raiders, man. They don't deserve to be in Las Vegas, man. Like,
yeah, it is. It is a little bit. Yeah, it is a little bit like. It's a bit like Aladdin trying to get with the princess. It's like you're from the scrubs and you're trying to get into the.
That stadium is far too good for that organization.
I can't, dude. I'm not gonna lie though. I can't wait to go to Vegas, go to the Raiders Chiefs next year, man. That's gonna be the shit.
To be honest, I think even if you went there and your team wasn't playing, you'd want to go just to see the stadium and go in there if fans are allowed. And the fact it's Vegas, and I'd root against whoever they were playing because I just couldn't do it. As a Niners fan, I just could not ever say the Raiders are going to win. Another quite disappointing beginning of the season. Next game we're going to talk about briefly. Saints Broncos. This had a lot of promise at the beginning of the season when this came up because obviously the Broncos would have had Von Miller and their defense would have been a lot better than it's been. Obviously, Drew Lock's in and out the team because he's always injured. Obviously, we know Taysom Hill is QB. I personally would rather see Jameis Winston, but that's just me. I can't see past the Saints, unfortunately. I think they're just too strong. Broncos defense is suffering. And, you know, again, the pressure that you're going to get from the Saints defense, I think Drew Lock's going to be running for his life again. It's not a great prospect thinking about facing that defense, I must admit. And they took Quan Alexander from the Niners as well. He showed up last week with a few tackles and stuff. But yeah, I'm going with the Saints. Carl?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Denver are pretty much dead at this point in time. So yeah, I'm taking the Saints.
Scott?
Yeah, Saints. I was saying this the other day. I don't know what's better, when the Raiders suck or when the Broncos suck. So Broncos are terrible. They are garbage. They almost lost to the damn Jets. That's all you need to know about the Broncos. Give me the Saints all day. Saints big.
Take them back to the donkey sanctuary. They need nurturing.
The glue factory.
John?
I agree with Scott. I'll take the Saints. No matter how much of a genius Vic Fangio is, he's not cutting it as a head coach. I'm taking the Saints all day. They're going to destroy them.
Neil?
Yeah, it is obvious the Saints. They're just going to kill them. And for me, I actually like the fact that they got Taysom Hill starting over Jameis Winston. To me, I think that Taysom Hill is the better option strictly because of all of the gadget plays they run with him. You can just run it while he's on the field. And at the same time, you're going to have to get through the season with this guy. Plus, you really want Jameis in there throwing 30 more interceptions in such a short span of time? I'll take Taysom any day.
It would be an NFL record, man, if he did throw up 30 and 30 again in a couple of weeks. Okay, well, that's a clean sweep on that one. Right, I think we're all going to be unanimous in this next one, as much as I hate to say it because I don't like the Packers. But can anyone see the Bears actually knocking them off in Lambeau?
No. What I will say is the Bears' offense is about as appetizing as watching a sex tape of your parents. Cringy and god awful.
I've never seen a parent comment on that one.
Jesus Christ.
Trust you to bring it down to that kind of level. They couldn't understand his accent, and now you'll bring it. But I do understand what you're saying. Am I right in thinking they're bringing Trubisky back this week?
Yes.
Fucking
What
hell.
the hell?
That's bad. I mean, sorry. As good as that Bears defense has been in patches, I think the Packers are going to absolutely steamroll them. And I can't get that sex tape thing out of my head now, Carl.
Claire the Bear's going to be absolutely fuming when she sees this.
I'm going to tell your mum. Scott.
Yeah, I don't know what to say after that, Carl. I mean, Green Bay, I guess. Yeah, how the Bears ever got to 5-1 or whatever it was that they were at is beyond me. So yeah, Green Bay big.
Yeah. As you say, I mean, that was mad. How the hell did that team get to 5-1? It's crazy. John.
I got the Packs beating them. Like you guys said, they were labeled as one of the first 5-0 teams or 5-1 teams in the league weeks ago. That defense just kind of fizzled out. They were the only thing keeping them in the game. Turnovers, pressures. They kept the Bears alive. Nah, it was never offensively. They have nothing offensively.
Deal.
All right, I'm gonna be a lone wolf here, man. I'm going with the Bears.
Oh man,
the Bears. I'm gonna take them, and I'm gonna tell you this. Even though they can't figure out, and I told John D this, they're basically Ace Ventura, Finkel and Einhorn, Einhorn and Finkel. With Foles or Trubisky back and forth, they don't know who they want to put out there. They probably might throw the towel boy out, but I'm gonna take the Bears, man. I say the defense finally gets to Aaron Rodgers, and just taking the Bears. I'm gonna give them a shot. I'm gonna give them a shot in the dark. They're going to be my dark horse team of the week.
Dion, unfortunately, you are the weakest link. And you've got the lone wolf, I'm afraid. You are the lone wolf on that one. And another comment here from Carly. Sorry, I've been on full screen. I didn't see him coming through. Who's worse, Cowboy fans or Seattle fans? I'm
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Cowboys are the worst fans in the damn NFL. The Seattle fans have nothing on them. Callie, you know this. I just said it. They always think they're going to win, and even when they are losing, they think they're winning. I don't understand. Let me say this real quick. I live in America. I was born here. I've never been outside of the country, ever. I ain't even been down to Mexico. I will tell you this. I associate America with winning. I'm proud to be an American. If I want to associate my team with winning, you know whose team I'm going to pick? Carl's. You know why? Because the Patriots are winners. You know why? Because Bill Belichick dominated that damn division all the way up until now. I want to be associated with winners. I don't want to be associated with the losing franchise whose owner can't get out of the way of their success. I don't want to be associated with the franchise who hasn't been to the Super Bowl since the early 90s. And all they rest on is Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith. Oh, and then the owner didn't even want to pay Emmitt Smith. Michael Irvin had to walk into the office and tell him we're losing, we suck. Give him his money. Cowboy fans are the worst. They swear up and down they think they are the greatest thing since sliced bread. And the craziest thing is they have the biggest fan base worldwide. For what reason, I don't know. You're rooting for a losing squad. Continuously.
I've never got the America's team bit.
Neither have I, and I live here.
Really makes me laugh. It's because the Cowboys are so shitty this year. The amount of times they see Jerry Jones up in his executive box and he's like, take the fucking camera off me. And he looks like a lost soul. And for me, I love it. I love seeing Jerry Jones squirm because I hate the Cowboys. But most of all, I hate Jerry Jones. I hate Jerry Jones. And nothing gives me greater pleasure than seeing Dallas tank. It's hilarious. And do you know what? I don't even know if they would have been that much better if they did have Dak Prescott this year, because I don't think the coaching staff is that good either. I mean, but no, I mean, that rivalry has always been there. I mean, I've been a Niners fan since '79, and I know what it was like back then when every time we got to the championship game, they beat us, and then God rest his soul, the catch happened, and that all changed, and the dominance was over. And to me, whilst I still hate the Cowboys, I don't know, I just don't like the Seahawks. Piss me off, and their fans piss me off because they give it all this about how fucking wonderful they are, and they're not. They're not that great. They're Russell Wilson. That's it.
Thank you. Couldn't have said it.
I mean, don't get me wrong, DJ Metcalf, great baller. He is a baller and he is a beast. But the time will come when Russell Wilson retires and they're done. Forget it.
And Pete Carroll chokes on his gum.
Cowboys fans,
another one, yeah.
Cowboys fans are the worst, but Seattle with that 12th man and that stupid ass
don't talk
flag
about that
they
shit.
got, that's the worst, man. Get out of here.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I don't get all this 12s thing. I really don't, because like the Niners, when they went in there and were winning, where were the 12s? There was no noise. And it's all a fallacy with it with Seattle.
It's the same with a college team. Dion, Texas A&M. They've got something known as the 12th man, haven't they? They've got their 12th man bought in their standings area, haven't they?
The Chiefs actually did it in the 80s too, and it never really caught on. It kind of fizzled and disappeared. But yeah, there's nothing special or unique about Seattle fans. And they say, oh, we've got the second loudest. They say it's louder than Arrowhead, but it ain't louder than Arrowhead. And they say it's open air stadium. It's got two damn roofs over where the people sit. Don't tell me it's an open air regular stadium. It's a half dome.
Yeah, and then the Arrowhead Stadium, scientifically, the way that it is constructed, will funnel more sound than anything. I looked at the decibel levels, and yeah, there's nothing like Arrowhead. Arrowhead, if you go in there with a full amount of Chiefs fans, yeah, you won't hear shit.
Yeah, I do like bashing the sea chickens. It's my favourite subject, and I've got one of our friends who, unfortunately for him, he is a Seattle fan. Yeah, exactly. And when he wears a certain jersey, he looks like a highlighter pen. Those uniforms. I mean, God, who thought a luminous whatever it is a good look for anyone? And then you see, I mean, I know I wear jerseys, and I'm a fat guy, and I look quite terrible. But I would never, if the Niners brought out one that colour, there's no way I'm buying or even wearing it, because you just. All these fat, overweight men in the stands, and they looking like a load of highlighter pens. And
well, you got to think about it. They liken their uniforms to the Oregon Ducks. The Ducks have like the most versatile uniforms in college football ever. They have like 80 different damn designs, and the Seahawks the same. But the thing is the Ducks look cool. The Seahawks look like idiots. And you're right, it does look like a highlighter pin. Like you just walk up and you're like, hey man, I need to, come here real quick. Let me borrow your jersey. Oh, okay. Put that in the
One good thing about those jerseys, you never get lost in the dark, would you? Because it would be like a glowing beacon.
There you go. Hey, if it's late night and you're taking a jog, people will see you. It's
Yeah. And then you can run them down. There you go.
Well, exactly. you know where to just run.
I was trying to run away. What happened? My jersey, they found me. Yeah, well, you out there bright as hell in the middle of the night.
Yeah, you certainly wouldn't want to do a felony in the Seattle area wearing that jersey. The police wouldn't even need to put the spotlight on. They just come over with the big bird, and you'd be stuck. You'd be hidden behind a bush, and they'd see you. You wouldn't need cameras. Oh dear, oh dear. I suppose
it's goddamn rain in Seattle, man. They'll find
flying our way into the next game. You have the Eagles and the Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm going. I don't give a shit. Eagles. I don't care. Again, if it's Pop Warner, Eagles, I don't care. I cannot pick Seattle. I'm going all day Eagles. As bad as they are, if Carson Wentz can get his head out of his arse and actually make some throws, they got a chance. So I'm definitely going Eagles. Oh.
This is going to be after this game. Doug Peterson grows a set of balls and benches Carson Wentz. The guy's not good enough. He has regressed so much. I'm taking Seattle in this game.
I'm sorry, his name is killing me right now.
Oh man!
Subscribe to this man, by the way.
Sorry. I don't know if I'm up or not. My audio is cutting out here. I can't really hear.
We can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah,
no, I can hear. I just can't hear you guys. I don't know if you can hear me that well. Seahawks are going to destroy the Eagles. It's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be ugly. I mean, save the women and children.
Save the women.
It pains me to say this, but I'm gonna have to go Seattle. I'm one of those people, like, I'm a diehard Niner fan. I always will be. That will never change. But I am not. I'm realistic. And at the end of the day, Russell Wilson is a way better quarterback than Carson Wentz could hope to be on his worst day. And DK Metcalf is going to murder that secondary. He's going to kill them. Like, they don't have to worry about running the ball. They just have to hope their defense doesn't screw it off and put Russell in another situation where he has to go out there and create some magic to win the damn game. But I have to take, Seattle's going to win this one.
John?
I can't take Seattle to save my soul. I can't. They're sicking me. They're
on.
Vile franchise. But Philadelphia's front line, man, they could get to Russell, but I gotta take Seattle on this. I'm sorry, Nick. I can't do it. I just Philadelphia sucks. DK is gonna literally run them over one at a time. They're gonna be hanging off of that dude. I don't see how Philadelphia could even come out. I think even Henderson gets knocked over.
DK Metcalf ran down Budda Baker 109 yards. The man maintained almost 22 miles per hour of speed consistently. There's no stopping that young man. And plus, he's chiseled like a fucking Adonis. Somebody literally sculpted his body. There's no way. Him and AJ Brown, both of them look ridiculous. But you gotta go with the obvious, unfortunately.
Oh dear. Well, it looks like I've got a lone wolf it then.
Yeah.
Never ever will I pick the fucking sea chickens. Never. I don't care. Another one like the Steelers. I can't physically do it. It makes me feel sick to my stomach just thinking about it. As much as they are going to wax them, I know it. Everyone else knows it, but there's no way you will ever hear me say Seattle wins. I just can't.
I respect that, Nick. I respect that.
I can't. Same with the Cowboys. I can't do that. Raiders can't do it. Pittsburgh can't do it. But the Pittsburgh thing is more to do with obviously my co-host
Pete.
and nothing else, because I just like to upset him and piss him off. Carl, before we go, I know you wanted to touch briefly on the Thanksgiving games. And I just want to say, number 11 didn't do a lot. Wasn't magical, but how good was it to see the Washington football team and my guy 11 win?
Alex Smith was competent. Let's put it that way. He wasn't overall brilliant. He'd done the job that he was needed to set out to do. But the defense of Washington, let's just bear something in mind here. 4 of that front 7 are first-round picks. That defense is only going to get stronger and stronger down the years. If they can get something going on offense a little bit more, this team is actually capable of being very competitive down the stretch. I mean, what I saw from Washington on Thursday night was unbelievable. They were brilliant on defense. Antonio Gibson basically gave them the Dalvin Cook treatment. Just hand me the ball and I'm going to run you down the ground. 115 yards, 3 touchdowns, completely and utterly dominated. There is one crumb of comfort I will give for Dallas owners. They did lose Tyron Smith. They did lose Zach Martin to injury in the first quarter. So the offensive line was completely shot to pieces by the time Chase Young and Montez Sweat come after them after that. But my fucking God, me and Scott had a bit of a debate on Twitter regarding the fake punt. Right, Dion, John, I want your own. I don't know if you two watched the game or not, but what was your take when you saw the fake punt? Was that a good call and bad execution, or was that one of the most boneheaded decisions you've ever seen from a head coach? Dion?
It's just a dumb call. There's plays that there's things that you do and the things that you don't do. Like, come on, people. Why would you do that? Like, unless you have, some sense of, the chance that this is actually going to work, that you're going to win anything. It's the only reason you do stuff like that. And then other times you do it just because you're an idiot and or you're losing so bad, you say, might as well try this. Like, it's just a bonehead call. Idiot ass fun.
John?
Agreed. Bonehead call. Fake punts. Just don't. It doesn't fly. It doesn't fly. I call it bullshit. Bullshit game. Washington really surprised me. I spoke a little bit about this with Dion. They have a phenomenal front line there, and it showed out. And we criticized the games for Thanksgiving here in this country and said that it was a shit show, shitty teams. But if there was anything to celebrate, Nick, you'll appreciate this.
I know what you're gonna say.
Seeing Alex Smith upright playing a game, that was phenomenal. And that made my hair stand up, gave me tears. I thought it was phenomenal to see him execute. And to see that Washington front line, they are going to grow. Carl, you're right. They are going to be something to, if they get this right, drafting forward, they're going to be pretty badass in the next couple of years.
They've got good running backs. They've got good running backs. They've got a top-notch receiver in Terry McLaurin. This tight end, Logan Thomas, he's not a scrub. Sounds like a really good guy. They just need a little bit more protection on the offensive line, a little bit more help at depth at receiver. This team can go places. But as far as the Cowboys are concerned, McCarthy needs to be fired at the end of the season. The guy has just not got it anymore. There's a reason why Rodgers was falling out with him at Green Bay, and now we know why.
Yeah, he's not creative. He's not creative.
You see fake punts work, and I'm not saying you should never do a fake punt, but What's harder than 4th and 10? 4th and 25. Why are you gonna do an end around, hand the ball off 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage on 4th?
They ran a wheel route. They ran a wheel route on that play. There was a little I think it was someone snapshotted a picture of it, and there was a receiver downfield that would have got you the first down. Now I don't know whether whoever was throwing the ball was thinking he was going to run it, or he didn't see the receiver down the field. I don't know, because the execution just got blew up. As soon as he stopped in his tracks, the line just comes straight at him. It's like, fucking hell.
So you're saying, Carl, that it was just poorly executed? Do you think it actually had a chance?
I think the play was there. I just think it just got executed poorly.
Right.
If you watch the field from a bird's eye view, you will actually be able to see the receiver out open at the 45-yard line. It was just down to whoever was throwing the ball probably did not spot him. So, but it was a bloke anyway. No, Dallas would just.
Who's going to take the can for hiring McCarthy, because obviously Stephen, his son, seems to be the one that makes or allegedly makes all the decisions, but you never see him on camera. It's always Jerry Jones afterwards, and he does all the interview. And yeah, I mean, Dallas is a shit show. I think even, as I said, even with Dak Prescott in there, I still think maybe not the record wouldn't be as bad as it is now, but McCarthy, he's obviously mugged either Stephen or Jerry. He's mugged one of them off to say, I've done all this, because that's what he did apparently in his year off. He got all this team together. They had it on NFL Network. They did an interview with him where he'd done all this analytic stuff and he'd worked out everything and he had the perfect plan going forward. And even with that Prescott in there, they weren't that much better. So I just wonder who is going to hold their hands up. Are they just going to say that it was a bad season because of injuries? Are they this, that, and the other? Or is someone going to say, sorry, but we fucked up and put the wrong guy in?
I didn't think it was a bad pickup.
Really?
When you heard Mike McCarthy in the offseason, did you think it was going to be a bad? I mean, what were their options? Freddie Kitchens? There were some alternates, but I didn't think Mike McCarthy was going to be that bad as opposed to who they had.
Why don't you go someone new? Why don't you go get someone like Lincoln Riley?
I thought that Lincoln Riley was they were mentioning Lincoln Riley, but I guess he wanted no part of it, or what's that?
I don't think he wanted to leave the college ranks. I think he was comfortable where he was, as far as that goes. But for me, I looked at it like this: with the Cowboys, I have to agree with Nick. To me, it's simple. Somebody's got to take accountability, and they have to figure it out. Because if you notice one thing that's loomed over the Cowboys year after year, it's Jerry Jones. He's the issue. And sometimes owners have to understand that they need to step back. Look at the owner for the New York Knicks. He's been a problem over that franchise ever since he owned them. That franchise has been trash for years. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically what happens. Like with the 49ers, I love Eddie DeBartolo. Love that guy. And there are plenty of dudes that played for him that said they will always be one of his boys. The reason that we last so long and we had such strong structure was because our owner made it like a real family. This dude really knew your family. He knew kids, he knew birthdays, he knew aunts, but like he knew who you really were. And that
he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy.
And you got to get that in a franchise. And the thing with Jerry is Jerry actually wants to be out there coaching. And when you're too busy trying to be the coach and the GM, like you hire a GM to do what? If you're a GM in Dallas, you're just getting paid. I want to be the GM in Dallas. You know why? That's an easy 6-figure salary for me, baby. I'm going to kick back and take every penny. What do you do? Tom? Shit, man, I just get paid. Really? Yeah, I just get paid, man. That's all it is. Don't worry about nothing. But he's got to learn how to step back and step away, because They got that offensive line because of Stephen Jones. You know what I mean? He started making the picks. Hey, Daddy, you can't keep doing this. He was sort of like Al Davis. Al Davis would draft anyone that could run a sub-4. And that's what happened. He would always do it. He drafted Darius Hayworth-Bay. And where is he at now? No one knows.
Mm.
You have to learn how to step back.
And if you're a legitimate coach, why are you going to go there and put up with all that nonsense?
Exactly.
You're going to get Mike McCarthy, a guy that is desperate for a job and will take anything. I mean, how did you think it was going to work? That guy was only able to go to one Super Bowl with Aaron freaking Rodgers. Come on, man. Yeah, it was terrible. It was a disaster hire.
Because
I was laughing when I saw it come across the TV. I just thought, man, that's the most cowboy shit ever right there, man.
Going back to what you say, Dion, about Eddie DeBartolo, you've only and how he created that winning culture, etc. You've only got to look at what he did for Dwight in the last few months of his life and getting them all together. And obviously, he's buried on his ranch and he looked after the family and when we had Jesse Sapolo on, that was one of the questions I asked him. What was it like to be around Eddie? Were the stories true that he did treat everybody as an equal and as his family? And he said everything you've ever heard is true. He stays in contact with people now. He, as I said, with Dwight Clark, he's buried on his ranch. He's got where the catch happened. They've got the mock-up of the field and everything. And it just kind of got back to the Dallas thing. That's why they are such a shit-ass franchise, is because of Jerry Jones and the way he's been.
The buck stops with him.
He's got no class. He has got no class.
The buck stops with him.
Yeah. But he won't, if it all goes to shit, I don't know if he's not going to fall on his sword because he's the owner. He's not going to sack himself. And that was the thing when the Niners were pretty garbage a few years ago and people were calling for Jed to be fired. Mm-hmm. He's not going to fire him. And he said, didn't he, in that press conference, I'm not going to fire him.
I'm the owner. I'm not going to fire myself. Yeah, which doesn't make sense. Like, I was mad because there were decisions that were being made that were stupid. Like, you kept Trent Baalke, that worthless ass G. We're just going to draft the greatest guy, ready, and, he's going to do great. But, like, you kept Trent Baalke there all those years, and he didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? I tell you right now.
With a impression like that, man, you should be on the stage because you know.
Oh, man, I do that.
He's good at it. He's good at it.
He is the next Kevin Hart, people.
I'm taller than him, though. I'm taller than him.
Oh, you're taller than him. Okay, fair enough. Maybe not. So, that was the Washington Dallas game. The other one, obviously, was Detroit and Houston. We'll get into the brilliance of Deshaun Watson in a minute. But, Dion, I want to ask you a question here. You're obviously a Black African American, correct?
Yes.
Please ask me this question. Why the fuck did the Detroit Lions fire Jim Caldwell after 4 seasons where he had an over 500 record? He got Detroit to the playoffs twice. Didn't win a playoff game, but still got them to the playoffs twice. Had a 36-28 record. And in his last season, he got fired after a 9-7 season. Matt Patricia comes in, and in his third season now, he's 13-28-1. Not even had a 500 record since the firing. Please explain to me why Detroit done that.
Man, I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible. It's sheer stupidity. And the reason that I state this is because what people don't realize is it's really hard to find a winning coach. And it's really hard to find a winning formula. You know what I mean? And if you think about it, Bill Belichick holds some ridiculous high, esteem in the league. But his coaches under his tree suck. Brian Flores just got lucky with the Dolphins this year because before he was trash. Matt Patricia is trash. Mike Vrabel's starting to come along with the Titans, but it took him a couple of years. The guys that came after Bill Walsh, however, need to be winners. Mike Holmgren, you know, there's a bunch of dudes. But with that, to tell you the truth, that just is honestly them being dumb because they're trying to move in a direction where they're saying that they're looking for winning, but you have winning seasons. And I understand what you were saying about that. To me, it is dumb as hell. And it's really stupid that the NFL doesn't have more I don't say minority because I don't like the word. I say more diversity in the coaching. You should have black coaches. Hell, if there's an Asian dude out there that can do it, put his ass in there too. If there's a Hispanic person out there that can do it, the diversity has to expand. But the thing is you have to remember, look at the owners. The owners, I heard, I forget who it was. There was a commentator that said this best. The owners are going to work with someone who communicates on their level, who looks like them, who works with them. You got to think about it from that aspect. They will only mingle with the people that they feel are going to be good for the job. Jeff Fisher had a job. He's one of the worst NFL head coaches ever. He has the crappiest record. Now, one guy who seems to have lingered on in one of the shittiest towns was Marvin Lewis. They never let him go. They just wouldn't get rid of the guy, and he just couldn't get it. I'm one of those people. I'm all for if you suck and you just can't do the job well, you need to go. But that situation with Jim Caldwell should not have happened because you look at the abysmal turn that they have, and it's horrible, and they do look very, very dumb for that. They do look stupid for going ahead and taking Matt Patricia, and he can't win anything. And Matt Stafford is an okay quarterback. I mean, the man can throw the ball when he's healthy. He's definitely, he's always up there in yards, usually pretty much in the top 10, in most categories. But to me, that was one of the dumb firings and hirings because you bring him in thinking that he's going to bring something to your defense, but then your offense turns to shit, and you let a guy go. It's like, look what happened with Harbaugh. Harbaugh never had to lose ever. He left his last season 8-8. He was at least 500. But because the difference is you want to let the guy go. You figure out the differences, you move on, and you go back to winning. You can't have a dude bring you in and go to NFC Championship games and take you to the Super Bowl, and the next year, the offense doesn't do so well, and you kick it to the curb. With what happened with Detroit, this guy he was winning, and he was right under under Tony Dungy. So you think about it, it's a lack of diversity, but at the same time, it's just sheer utter stupidity. You cannot in any way look at the records, look at what happened, look at the way the team was going, and realize, and say, hey, we're better off with Patricia. If you want to go analytically and statistically,
it's not. It's not. Matt Patricia. They brought in Matt Patricia, defensive coordinator for New England Patriots, who was supposed to be making that defense better. Well, after what they saw after Super Bowl 52 against the Eagles, that was not the fucking case whatsoever. But here's the thing. When he came into that team, on his first season, they were ranked 16th after the first season on defense. 16th. So it's middle of the pack. That's not too bad. Last year, it dropped to 28th. This year, it's ranked 30th. You haven't made that team any better. You've made it worse. You are literally ruining Matthew Stafford's last few years of his career before he eventually freaking hightails it out of there.
I think Matt Patricia is a dead man walking. I can't.
He is now. He will be.
And it just goes to show, as you were saying, that the coaching trees sometimes do not work. And obviously, it's not working there. And you just, I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but yeah, Detroit have been awful. And this guy is supposed to have been, when he came in, a defensive genius, and their defense is garbage. And it can't all be about players. like we've
It
said,
has to be coaching.
earlier on
It has to be
about,
coaching.
you know, scheme on the offense and things like that. That's got to be the same with defense and stuff. But it'll be interesting. But the Cowboys is hilarious. Comeback player of the year on a game on national TV. Alex Smith.
That was beautiful.
The Niners shouldn't have let him go, if I'm honest. And I think that was probably one of the mistakes that Harbaugh made, because I would have, and as yes, Kaepernick did pan out and stuff, but I still think if he'd have been in that Super Bowl against Baltimore, we would be now on the quest for 7, not for 6. But
I think.
all right, another quick thing before we go, because we're now up to 3 hours. Yeah. Are any of you guys boxing fans?
Yes. Yeah, I like boxing.
I like boxing.
Okay, so tonight,
Mike Tyson and Roy Jones.
Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. Now, I must be honest, and I probably am the only person that didn't even know this fight was happening. I was watching Niners All Day on YouTube yesterday on one of the replays, because obviously where I am with whatever input comes out from the States, I can't watch it live. So I'm watching it, and all of a sudden it pops up, Mike Tyson, Roy Jones press conference. I'm like, the fuck is this? So I watched it. I didn't even know they were fighting tomorrow. Well, it'd be tomorrow I think it's 4 a.m. tomorrow morning for us. I've got to get up and watch it just from a spectacle point of view. And I know it's allegedly for charity, but what do you guys think about these two coming out of retirement to fight each other, point one, and point two? Is it just going to be a bit of like ballroom dancing, ducking and weaving and the odd shot, or do you think they're going to come at it and try and knock the shit out of each other, Dion? What do you think?
It's not going to be a boxing fight. It's a publicity stunt. You're not allowed to knock the opponent out because of their ages now. They're in their 50s. Fucking, if Tyson knocked out Roy Jones Jr., it'd probably kill him.
He didn't kill that in Hangover.
The rules are here. You're not allowed to knock the fighter out. The fight only ends either after certain, I don't know how many rounds they're fighting in this one. There's that rule, and then the second rule is once one of the opposing boxers has a cut on the head or face, the fight is deemed over.
Oh,
really?
wow.
Where did you see
I
that?
didn't know that.
That is the rules. That's the rules in this fight.
I never knew that, because I mean, if Mike Tyson hits him in the head, there's a chance he's going to knock him out.
The fight, there are 2 fights on. You've got Jones and Tyson, which, okay, I think everyone will be tuning into that. I mean, you've just thrown $50 down the fucking drain, but hey ho. Okay, and then the other one back over here in the UK, you got a British fight, which is actually meaningful. That's Dubois versus Joe Joyce, who, by the way, my stepbrother who lives in Essex has had the opportunity to actually spar with the guy.
That's sweet.
So that'll be a good fight.
I mean, I was going to come on to that, Carl, and for the American guys, if you like your boxing, I mean, it's 10 o'clock tonight, so it's going to be probably around about 6 p.m.-ish your time. That British heavyweight fight is going to be very, very good, because they are 2 very, very good fighters, and I think they're going to come out banging. But what you said about that fight then, Carl, with Tyson and Joe, I mean, that's kind of... I'm still going to watch it, because I'm going to be up and I'm an insomniac, and I want to, from a freakish point of view, I want to see it, but I don't want to see a fight like when McGregor went in and fought
Floyd
Mayweather.
Mayweather. I mean, that was the biggest mismatch in history, and it turned into a bloody wrestling competition in some of the parts of the fight. But yeah, I mean, I'm disappointed to hear you say those are the rules, because
I didn't know that.
Carl just ruined it for me. I was excited for it. Now
I was too.
Carl, Forget Twittergate. You've just done Tyson Gate. And people that are watching,
that's the rules and regulations of the actual fight. Sorry,
Really,
if my
That's
screen's actually
insane.
going
I did not know that. That's insane. Has anybody seen Mike Tyson training for this? Have you guys seen anything at all? Look it up. It's intense. It's intense. At his age, he still has nasty power. It's ridiculous. I don't see how those rules. He loses it in the middle of workouts. Like, he may just completely obliterate those rules and knock him unconscious.
Yeah, I don't know. Man, I don't care. I don't care if Mike Tyson was 80 years old. I wouldn't get in the ring with him. I grew up watching boxing. It's kind of a sport that I don't know about over there in the UK, but it's not near as popular.
it's big
here as it used to be.
It's huge.
When I was growing up watching Mike Tyson fights with my dad and his buddies, and boxing was big, and even they had Lennox Lewis and these other guys. It was still somewhat big, but it really started to die off with Mike Tyson here in the States. You can still get some good. There's still some good boxing though if you know where to look. I don't know. Canelo Alvarez. I don't know if you all ever watch his fights.
I watched that fight.
That dude's a killer. So yeah, I love boxing. I was looking forward to this fight, but knowing that those are the rules or the stipulations now, it's kind of.
There's two US fighters I do really like. They're not in the heavyweight division. They're further down. One of them is Errol Spence, and the other one is Terence Crawford.
Yeah.
They are just unbelievable to watch. They just fly around the ring like, they're like ballerinas. But they have some serious good technique and serious good power on them. No one from these aisles have not been able to go over there and beat them. You've come over to knock out Kell Brook in his own backyard.
Oh, he did a number on Kell Brook, didn't he?
Massively, yeah.
I mean,
I didn't know that I didn't know those were the rules, man. That kind of dampens the thing, but for me, I have to agree with John.
I'm sorry if I pissed. I'm sorry I pissed on your bonfire, but that is
pissed on everybody.
Found out regardless. We would have found out regardless.
Yeah, we would have found out regardless. But what I'll tell you is this: I agree with John B. Those rules are not going to apply in a fight with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson does not know one speed but 100, and Mike Tyson is going to go in there with the intent to try to murder Roy Jones. He does not know how to stop. And I've seen enough Tyson fights because the boxing that I like actual boxing, but I like guys with power. I don't want to watch. I tell you right now, the worst person I hate is Floyd Mayweather. You know why? Because he's always on the defensive and he's running. Is he the greatest technical boxer of all time? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But is he the greatest boxer? No, because he's boring. I don't want to watch that fight. So I could watch you run and win on points and then bet $1 billion on yourself and then keep getting paid. That's stupid. I'd rather watch Deontay Wilder because he has knockout power. I love him.
Wilder, that's a good point you bring up. He absolutely got schooled. He was lucky in the first fight against the Jiu-Jitsu.
He was smart. Hey, hats off to
Tyson
what was his name? Yeah, Tyson Fury. Hats off to Tyson Fury for what he did. I still don't know how he got up after that knockout in the first fight.
You know what? That was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in sport. Because he was usually that cold.
It usually takes Deontay one time. That bronze bomber knocks you down, you go to sleep. It's time to go to bed. Get that man a pillow and a blanket. He's going to sleep. But it's for me, I still look at it like I'll watch it strictly based on the fact that I know Mike Tyson's mental. And Mike Tyson grew up in New York knocking out people, robbing folks. That's how he started. And then somebody saw that and turned him into a boxer. So it's like he's going in there to take his lunch money. He ain't going in there to play with Roy. And Roy's going in there saying to himself, all right, man, quick, payday. I'm going to do what I got to do. We're going to be good. But I didn't know. Did you know on the undercard they got Nate Robinson fighting that YouTube kid?
Yeah.
Like, what the heck? So this YouTube kid now he's randomly a boxer and he wants to fight Nate Robinson?
What's
like? What are we doing?
Logan Paul.
Logan Paul. Yeah.
Paul and that other guy.
KSI.
Or whatever, they've had 2 fights, right? And they made the most money on pay-per-view because schmucks just want to see. I mean, personally, I don't think those fights should ever take place. If you're not a boxer, you haven't tried. I don't give a shit. Yeah, they've gone in the gym and pumped iron, and then that's their profession. So why are they being? I know why they're being allowed. That's you and.
But that's the thing, though. It's not just in sport; it's in every single category. I mean, you look at music now. The music that you listen to nowadays. I mean, I don't know if Dion and John will agree with me on this, but some of the music we hear nowadays is absolutely fucking god awful.
Oh, it's garbage.
And the music is not only just god awful because no one's barely listened to. How do they make their money? It's attention. Yeah. You crave attention. There's so many artists which I don't know the names of. One artist back from the year 2000 who I mean I was into new metal at the time, Limp Bizkit. They were a fucking terrible band, but the lead singer just kept craving the attention over and over and over
again. There's no talent.
That's how there's no talent. It was just attention, and that's basically what this all is.
But you saying that's how I feel about rap music now. I can't listen.
It's not.
It's all technology. It's all done on a beatbox. There's no talent.
Public Enemy for me.
There you go. Chuck D.
NWA, Ice-T.
I'll show you something here. Let me show you this cup. My wife bought this for me for my birth as a gift. 80s baby, 90s baby. Okay?
Excellent.
So I grew up. I was born in 1981. So I will tell you this: in the 80s and in the 90s was a golden age of hip hop. Why? Because you had so much creativity, so many new people, and it was like the East Coast started everything, and then you had people with the West. You had the movement of the South. Like you had those moments, but those were the times where music was music and people were very creative. Now, if you don't sing with a song, if you don't sing with auto-tune, they don't want to hear you on the radio. And I feel like that's stupid because they cursed T-Pain for it. They drove T-Pain into the ground. Oh, that was stupid. It was stupid. But now all of you guys are using his stick. And nobody wants to give the man no credit. He's sitting back there looking at you going, oh, but when I used auto-tune, it was wrong. You know, so it's like for me, and I'm a lyrics and a content type person. Like you have to be saying something.
Right.
You know, everybody has everybody has, you know, I have my little guys that I listen to that ain't really saying nothing, but it's because they got good beats, and I just like that. But most of the time, I want somebody to be telling me something. My favorite artist is DMX. A lot of people don't like him. I do. I love DMX. I like his music. You know why? Because he'll have you want to rob somebody 1 minute and train the guy the next. It doesn't work. You never listen to the song. That man has a prayer on every album, and he has a song where he's talking to God on every single album. And the dude is just that great. You know, I like him.
Sorry, Dion, cut a quick comment from Carly.
He did.
So whoever's in the fight lost $20. Well done. Public Enemy.
It's basically it's this 3 hour stream. I've just basically pissed people off.
You've done. You're quite right. You know, sometimes I wonder why we actually have you on here, Carl, because you've just like
he's
I know we
the
don't
wet
actually
blanket,
viewers.
For subscribers and it's golding in terms of content. Okay.
Oh, Nas, I like that. Nas is great because I can tell you right now, Ether was the best diss outside of No Vaseline of all time. You couldn't come back to Ether. There was nothing outside of No Vaseline. Ether was the best of all time because No Vaseline killed NWA. They had no comeback for that. But when Nas did Ether, he destroyed Jay-Z. And people didn't know how hard that hit Jay-Z. Because he tried. He tried his best. And to take
That's a lyrical genius right there.
That he destroyed him. You know, I mean, and you got to think about it. Nicki Minaj and Remy Ma had a battle. they had their own little tip. And where did Remy Ma go? To Ether. And she took that and she murdered Nicki Minaj. But we all know Nicki she's nowhere near Remy Ma's level. We all understand that. She's all right, but she ain't got that Remy Ma. And Remy Ma's on a whole another level. Plus, she's married to Papoose, who's one of the greatest lyricists out there. He's very underrated. The man did a rhyme from A to Z and backwards. And it sounded great. But yeah.
Do you know what the funny thing about all of this is? If Pete was still on here, he wouldn't have a fucking clue what you were talking about. He'd be like,
I always pictured Pete as a Spice Girls guy. So
that is by far beyond the imagination. I think it goes a lot deeper than that.
He is. I don't know if you guys, Little Mix. Have any of you heard of Little? I know Carl knows who Little Mix are. Have you? Any of you guys? Google them. You'll watch about 1 second of it and turn it off because it's bubbling. We went to a NFL international game at Wembley years ago. It was Falcons versus, I can't remember who the Falcons were playing, but Little Mix were doing like the pre-game show. And he was dancing like a 2-year-old. Next to him, and he still says, "Oh, I was only doing it to piss you off." I said, "Mate, you made yourself look like a lemon." I was just like, "Fucking hell, stop, please stop."
Hey, I'll tell you this though, Scary Spice is still fine. She's still fine. I don't care what nobody says. Scary Spice is still gorgeous to me. I ain't a Spice Girls fan, but believe you me, that one right there, she gorgeous. I like her.
Definitely, they've certainly got better with age. Anyway, guys, we're going to wrap it up now. So we're just going to go round the horn one final time. Carl, any closing comments?
Everyone have a good weekend, and anyone on Fantasy that needs any help or tips, hit me up on Twitter at BritishPat28, and I will give you as much help as I possibly can.
Awesome. John?
Stay safe. Wherever you are in this country, wherever you are anywhere else, be safe. Hats off to the Niner fans. Dion, always a pleasure. Nick, always a pleasure. Scott, great time meeting you. Can't stand that damn hoodie. Carl, take care of yourself. I'll see you around Twitter. Take care, fellas.
Nice. Dion, closing comments?
Hey, everybody, stay safe. Have yourselves a fantastic weekend, man. Continue to watch 49er football, not Chiefs football, because the Chiefs just won their first ring. But just kidding. Great to meet everybody, man. Thank y'all for having me on the show. This is Mr. Rogers. Hey, man, you guys are having a good season. Hopefully, if anything, you might be the first team to repeat for a very long time.
Scott?
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, it was nice meeting you guys too. Carl, Nick, good seeing you. Nick, be careful. Looks like you're in the next scene of the Saw movie. That's
right.
So, I don't know, man. Watch your back while you're there in the torture chamber, the dungeon. But
he's prepping it for Pete. What do you think? He's gonna get Jigsaw sitting on the.
And then he's gonna put him in
expecting to see that Jigsaw thing pop up from.
Where his mechanic's cupboard is on the top though. He's just gonna have little Jigsaw doll just hovering over the end, and it's gonna have a little video record.
I can only get decent Wi-Fi in my garage, and there's so much shit in here. It would take me 3 weeks to tidy it up. I can't be asked. I'll give you a tour one day, but there's so much crap. You wouldn't believe I am literally huddled in. There's crap either side of me. So it's been really good today, fellas. Dion, really great to meet you. It was excellent having you on. John as well, contributing all the time. I appreciate you. Oh, no more Twitter gates because.
No, there will be no more Twittergate.
Don't stay away from the alcohol and stories that you put out. Scott, you will have something arrive with you probably next week. I hope
you're man, Nick.
You enjoy them. I've really enjoyed this show. Sorry I couldn't make it earlier. I will message you all and let you know why I couldn't be here on time. Unfortunately, there were unmitigating circumstances. Don't forget, if you want to follow us, we're on Shank Club NFL everywhere. It's been great. Dion, John, anytime you want to come on, let us know. We do this every week, same time, picking games, talking shit, take the piss out of Pete. It's been great. I love you all. Thank you for watching. Sorry we were late, but I hope
it's all good
content. My name's Nick at Win with 49ers. We'll catch you all soon. This has been the Shank Club NFL. Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you next week.